And we are live again. WrestlePurists AEW Dynamite review. Everybody's favorite weekly review. Hosted by myself and Charlie running a two-man booth tonight. Joe is in Cardiff, yeah. WWE Cardiff is today's WWE house show. Joe is there because he never just goes to the normal house show in London where he's based. So last year it was Paris. This year he's in Cardiff. Who knows where he'll be next year, but he's not here tonight, unfortunately. Ayo, I believe, there's some work commitments or something like that. I don't know, but he can't make it. It is me and Charlie. AEW Dynamite Dynasty is this weekend. And we have to go home Dynamite to talk about. It was a good show. Not perfect because wrestling rarely is, but nowhere near as many misses as last week. First things first, please like, subscribe, send in super chats for any questions, any takes, opinions, predictions for Dynasty, anything like that. We'll talk about it. Turn on the post notifications. Hope everyone's doing good. Charlie, two-man booth, what's going on?
Yeah, doing all right. Bit tired. I've had a very weird day when it comes to sleep. My insomnia has been playing up a little bit today, but we're here, locked in. How are you doing, Monty? How was your WWE live show? You had that yesterday.
I did. WWE Live Birmingham, the first house show after WrestleMania, the first house show with Cody Rhodes as our world heavyweight WWE Undisputed Champion. Did you see all the confusion with the naming that there was doing on their website earlier this week? So forgive me for messing it up because not even WWE have got it perfect this week. So forgive me. But yeah, man, it was a good show. There was so many people there, like more than last year. Last year there was, I think WrestleTix said there was like over 10k, so there was probably like at least like 12k or something in there last night.
Jeez.
And yeah, man, just house show. You know, we got the Fatal 4-Way, Gable, Gunther, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor. If anyone watches these shows enough, they'll know I'm not the biggest multi-man singles, whatever you want to call them, triple threats, Fatal 4-Ways, 6-mans. They're not my kind of thing. But if you're gonna book them, you know, put Gunther, Sami Zayn, Gable, Finn Balor. You know,
Can't go
I
wrong.
can live with it. It was a good time. That was probably the best match on the show. Cody Rhodes tried to have like a spirited main event with Shinsuke, which just it popped me huge. You know, let him kick out of a crossroads at one point.
Wow.
Jey Uso beat Drew McIntyre, which actually half caught me by surprise. You know, he was just hamming up like the CM Punk, like because everyone was just chanting CM Punk at him because you know naturally.
I saw some of the clips.
And he was like grabbing the mic mid-match and like I said, hamming it all up and everything. And the actual finish was like the crowd. He was like getting ready to do a Claymore in the corner. The crowd started chanting CM Punk at him. He got distracted and Jay rolled him up. So yeah, man, he was. But this is what I was going to tell you before we went live, Charlotte. Imagine, like I said, there was like what 12,000 people there or something.
Oh my god, I saw the tweet that you're about to reference.
There's like 12,000 people there, and out of everybody I could have sat next to, I ended up sitting next to WrestlePurists' own video editor, Matt, who is also from Ireland. So he flew to Birmingham to do this live show and just happened to be sitting next to me. It was
crazy.
Quite a crazy coincidence.
You were both wearing WrestlePurists merch as well. Yeah, like I thought it was planned at first.
Yeah, so it was wild, man. But yeah, it was good to meet him. And hopefully we have some new videos of him dropping soon, you know. But yeah, WWE Live, Birmingham, it was a good time. But you know, this is an AEW show, Charlie. Dynasty is this week. Are you fired up? I'll ask you that real quick.
I am. I'm very excited for Dynasty. It's a very good pay-per-view with only like 2 matches that I'm not like overly interested in, which I'll take because sometimes AEW pay-per-views there will be a few matches that I'm like, this isn't for me, but there is a really well-built card. They did a good job putting it together in the time between now and Revolution, so I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a good time.
It should be a really good one. It's one of those ones where it's like AEW is so good at putting these cards together like on paper, you know? And they're really getting back to that. So you know, did you manage to catch New Japan, Windy City Riot? Because I guess that'll lead into the first segment of Dynamite, you know, with the big story of John Moxley becoming IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Did it catch you by surprise, or was you expecting it?
I wasn't surprised because of by the time that we got to Windy City Riot, Moxley had been off TV for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks,
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
So I was like, they've taken him off TV for something. He was in insane shape, and I was just like, they might actually do this. And then people started tweeting about the fact that he would be the first person to hold all 3 of the big belts for the 3 big companies. I was like, yeah, Moxley's gonna win the belt, and then he did, and it was a pretty cool match. I had a great time.
Yeah, he's a Moxley. It was such a spirited effort in the main event for him, wasn't it? You know, he got Naito out there, poor Naito, with his knees and he's just general. You know what's funny? I still love Naito though, because it's Naito, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, he's I think he's just a legend, and he just kind of has a unique aura about him, you know. And you want to really get behind him, and Max gave you enough in this match where you could kind of get into it much, you know. So, but yeah, Max, I don't want to call it a full-on carry job, because kind of like Naito being who Naito is, of course, is like worth something, you know. But yeah, quite the effort from Max, you know. But yeah, it was a pretty good show. Anything else on the show? Because I don't think we've had a chance to talk about it on.
We talked about it a little bit on the Sunday show, but I actually missed talking about the Moxley match. So, the women's match was really good stuff. Stephanie Bakir and Azumi, I think that was the women's match. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, Zack Sabre Jr. had a good match with Matt Riddle, but no one's surprised by that, because Matt Riddle is unfortunately a good wrestler. And Nick Nemeth, he might have something to do with this post WWE run yet. There might be fuel to the fire. I was a little bit out of it, and then the Bloodsport match happened, and then the Windy City Riot match happened, and I'm like, yeah.
I just think he needs to wrestle Bryan Danielson on an episode of Collision.
Yes.
That would just be really nice, wouldn't it? You know?
That'd be real gross.
Yeah, you know, Nick Nemeth, Bryan Danielson, hardly anyone watching. You know, it's what we need. It's what we need, Charlie.
Yes.
But yeah, Windy City Riot, Jon Moxley is our IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He becomes the first. I think New Japan called it something in a tweet, like Global Grand Slam. So like the first person to hold AEW World Championship, a WWE World Championship, and a New Japan's top title, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, as it is currently known as. So yeah, quite obviously just continues to add to his legacy. I think out of everybody who has left WWE, he's probably the person to add to his legacy the most. Regardless of who you think's been the best or the best signing, I think he's probably quite comfortably the person who has like added to what his legacy is, because Dean Ambrose, a Shield, it's a WWE Hall of Famer, you know, and like there will be people who remember Moxley, I think it was CCW, and like obviously he did his grind on the Indies as well, but like obviously this version of Jon Moxley that we've known since 2019 or whenever it was, 2018, 2019, is just the best version of him. It just simply is, you know. And yeah, he might bleed a bit much, but you know, and that is, it's when people use it as like, oh, he's terrible because it's like, whatever, bro, you know. But like, you know, he does enjoy, you know, that feeling. So did Ric Flair, you know. So did a lot of wrestlers, you know. So it's just you take the good with the bad, you know. It kind of pops me, I can't lie, you know.
Listen, man, it's not for everyone, but I enjoy it. So
it's like watching Nick or Nate Diaz fight. You know, they got all that scar tissue above their eyebrows, and literally all you have to do is flick them, they'll burst open. It's just, you know, it's just some people just have that scar tissue, brother. You know,
it's unavoidable.
All right. Before we fully dive into Dynamite, we have got. We got 1 or 2 super chats. Keep them coming, people. We'll get to them throughout the show when we can. Anjan, $2. Appreciate it. 2 hard-working Brits, and H-Town Joe is grind running. Listen, he's doing on the ground analysis and reporting of WWE Cardiff. You know, did you see the Jey Uso video he posted? You know,
I did. Yes, it was very funny.
He's so over, man. He was literally the most over person in the building outside of Cody Rhodes, because you know it's like you can't even count Cody Rhodes on this tour. Yeah, you know he's just won the world title. and he's just kind of riding the high at the
Pretty
moment.
wild.
But yeah, God bless. Kale, $20 pesos, however you would say. Apologies. He says, wrestle British. Is absolutely what is going on today. For the
Yes.
next. We shouldn't be running too long today. Should be like about an hour 30, something like that. Depends.
See what happens.
I don't think anything too controversial happened last night on Dynamite, did it?
No, I don't think so.
We don't have
Chat
to
might
talk
get
about.
heated about something. We'll see what happens.
We don't have to talk about tape for an hour.
God bless.
We have to talk about all in footage for an hour again. So, Anjan, $2. Appreciate you again. WrestlePurists takeover, Great Britain. A lot of British love.
Yeah.
God bless. It might be off-putting to some. It might. Some people are probably for it, so I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite last night. Can't remember what city it was in. Forgive me. Don't think it matters.
Indianapolis.
There we go. See, someone's a professional here. And we're kicking off with the aforementioned IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. His music hits. He comes through as he usually does from the back through the crowd. And yeah, man. It was cool to see him kind of go, because obviously when Mox wrestles on Dynamite, he's in the zone. You know what I'm saying? He's in the zone. But it was cool to see him come through as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, be able to kind of embrace the fans. I think he actually engaged with like one of the kids with like, I think he signed his sign or something or shirt or whatever it was. So that was like cool to see him kind of like take it in properly, because like I said, normally he's so in the like
he just kind of
he's like pushing fans out the way.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see him get that cool entrance to open the show as well. There was a sign that said Roman fears Osprey, which is just kind
was very funny.
It's just kind of like funny to think about.
Yeah.
Like, Roman is one of the people from WWE. Is like he's not really just take random shots like that,
Yeah.
Don't think he's mentioned Osprey.
Nope.
If he's your number one and you want to shut down anyone who thinks Roman Reigns is number one, then that's fair enough, Anyway, we got a sign saying that Roman fears Osprey, but
did make me laugh.
Yeah, man, Moxley did this incredible promo, I thought. Just a great victory lap, telling you to fuck the haters. Anyone who doubts him can kiss his ass and watch him climb mountain after mountain. And being great is about what's inside, trying to make us get ready to run through a wall or something. He mentioned that he's been chasing the IWGP title for 5 years, which is a cool reminder because he's had his eyes on it longer than AEW's been a promotion.
Yeah.
He's had his eyes on it.
Yeah, he went to New Japan first.
Yeah, he's pretty much second he left WWE. He's been in the crosshairs of John Moxley, and now he's finally got it, and I thought it was cool of him to kind of remind us, He talks, like I said, it's all about what's inside of you. How deep are you willing to dig to be great, to prove the doubters wrong, and that's what AEW is all about. And then he went into just kind of burying Don Callis, called Don Callis Creep.
That popped to me.
He called Don Callis a creep. If you put your hands on Brian, like the Don Callis family have recently, brainbuster on the fucking ramp. It was quite Bryan Danielson to trust Takeshita to do that,
Yeah.
God bless. But basically, if you put your hands on Bryan Danielson, you fucked it. Calls them all out to come find him. He'll be there all night. Then he specifically calls out Will Hobbs for a match next week, and we're getting that match. It was announced later on in the show. Mox, Hobbs, and Charlie really great, especially the first half of the promo when he's kind of, like I said, when he's kind of like victory lapping the fact that he's won the IWGP World Heavyweight title, and then he kind of, he kind of segued into cutting a, more traditional calling someone out kind of promo. So, what did you think of it?
I thought this segment was really cool. Like, seeing Mox get like a hero's welcome from the AEW crowd, like after being off TV for like 5-6 weeks or whatever, and coming back with the title, it was just a really cool moment. And I'm glad that he got that and was like able to like soak it in and actually like kind of brag about himself for a bit, because Moxley doesn't do that in promos. Like, he'll talk about himself, but he never really talks about what he's accomplished in the business. So he did it in a very John Moxley way, because of course he did. But it was cool to see him actually like celebrate himself and like embrace the fact that he is just the guy for AEW. The Don Callis promo part did make me laugh a lot. I think him versus Hobbs is very inspired booking, and I'm excited to see what that match looks like. I can't remember if they've wrestled before. I think maybe once, but it was probably a while ago, and Hobbs is definitely a lot better nowadays, so I'm interested to see what the match looks like. But yeah, I really like this segment. I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah, it was. Of course, John Moxley's, like I said, he's one of the great promo guys, especially as far as AEW is concerned, and just the business in general at the moment. To be honest, I think you can say what you want about if his wrestling style isn't for you. Like I said earlier, if the bleeding puts you off so much, grow up. But like, you know, people got fair reasons to whatever it is. Not everyone has to love every top guy in the business or whatever. But I don't think you can kind of legitimately say he's like a bad promo, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's like nothing in wrestling is objective, you know. But I think you'd have quite a tough argument, especially like John Moxley, like AEW John Moxley. He's one of the great promo guys. So
yeah, he just always has the crowd with him. It's crazy.
So yeah, he's wrestling Hobbs next week, but he's not on Dynasty. He's not on Dynasty.
No. He has a crazy schedule over the next couple of months. So he's in Japan, I think, announced right now, like at least twice, because he's wrestling on Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, like in Japan, and then the Dominion show he'll likely be on. Then he's there at the beginning of May, and then he's got Resurgence. He'll probably maybe do something at Double or Nothing. I'm not surprised he's not wrestling on Dynasty. It's a stacked card already.
Yeah, especially if he's wrestling on Dynamite anyway, so it's not like it's, you know, it's not like he's
it speaks for the roster,
saving his bump card, you know. It's like he's still, and wrestling Hobbs is not exactly going to be a you know, a light casual picnic. You know, he's going to have to take some bumps. He's going to have to get whacked. He's going to have to, you know, he's going to be selling a lot in that match. So. We'll see. Like you said, Charlie, he's got a crazy schedule coming up. But even still, it's still kind of a surprise not to see him on Dynasty, even though he hasn't been around too much. You know, the past few weeks.
Who would he even wrestle? I guess they could have pulled the Hobbs match onto Dynasty.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah, easily.
They do stuff like that. They could have done that.
They absolutely do stuff like that.
Yes,
you know, a couple hours before the pay-per-view to do that. You know, so. Yeah, man, obviously a star of Moxley's caliber. You know, he genuinely is one of AEW's like biggest names. You know, so you never know. He could have sold a few pay-per-views, even if it was a few, even if it wasn't like a world title match or anything that he was in. But yeah, no, Moxley on Dynasty, really good promo. I think it's worth saying that. You know the part where he said, you know, like proving the doubters wrong. How deep are you willing to dig? How much do you want it? That's what AEW is all about. I feel like that is better and resonated more with their fan base than anything that else they've done in kind of retaliation to the CM Punk interview. And this is even better as well, because you can absolutely make the best case of anything that they've done, that this had absolutely nothing to do with CM Punk. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't about CM Punk, but it also kind of, I don't know if you had any sort of, not doubts, but kind of, it's just like it kind of, you know, it brought up the AEW chants and it kind of just fired you up about AEW sort of thing. Like they didn't need to do Edge's rah-rah speech. They didn't need to do the footage thing. They didn't need to do any of that stuff. Just let Mox just fucking...
promo.
Literally, because Mox is one of the best flag wavers of AEW without being corny about it as well, because it's like, there's a kind of a security that the AEW fans have to Moxley with Moxley of like, he genuinely like loves the kind of alternative and not having to be stuck with WWE. Do you know what I mean? And he's been there, he's done that. He could have stayed there and been comfortably on millions of dollars. Do you know what I mean? But he's not. He's AEW. As close to day one, but not day one, you know. And he's just one of the he's just kind of like, he's not the ace right now, but he is their kind of
He's just their flag bearer.
franchise player, you know, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. He's
I
like
think
their go-to.
he's always had goodwill with the fan base, but like ever since like late 2022, when they kept going back to Mox to hold the world title, when all the brawl out stuff happened and CM Punk getting injured and all that, like they were the guy they kept going back to. So he already had goodwill with the fan base, but like the fact that he treated that with so much prestige anyways, even though it was obvious swerves in the plans, like it really like gained even more respect from the fans, which is why he can do things like this, I think.
He's great for it in that promo you mentioned after like the brawl out fiasco. You know, that was a great promo, you know.
Yeah.
And Mox is just great because Mox has a certain way where it's just kind of like cut the bullshit and the fucking noise, you know, let's fucking wrestle. Like sort of, you know. So yeah, love Mox. Happy for him to, you know, like I said, he's adding to his legacy, making history. He's the only person to achieve what he achieved this past weekend. Yeah, it was this past week. Yeah.
Only
It's fucking Thursday now.
To do it. I don't even know who else in the business could at this point. Not within like the next 5 years.
We thought about this on one of the podcasts recently, didn't we? Someone in the chat said Jericho, which is terrifying, but I don't think there's any chance of that happening. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. Unless he had like a big falling out with AEW and he was like, New Japan, I'm willing to try and bring this company back. You know what I mean? I will be the top gauge because I think New Japan would unfortunately probably go for that, you know? So
yeah. I think it's like Jericho, AJ Styles if he left WWE and won a world title in AEW, which is not going to happen. Osprey if he decides to leave
Osprey
5 years. Yeah,
that's the only one I could think of.
One of the most realistic ones in the next 5 years, because if he's the only guy in AEW that's held an IWGP title, held that title, that would feasibly win the world title right now, because people are going to bring up people like Jay White, and it's like, yeah, maybe eventually, but I don't see it happening before his deal's up. And is he going to re-sign in like 2.5 years or whatever? We don't know. This is like, we're just speculating. Like, yeah, I think Osprey is like Osprey is like the option.
I think Osprey is the best option, to be honest. Because if you go, yeah, obviously the chat are going through it. So like AJ at this point of his career, obviously the AEW title is the one he would have to win, and I don't think AJ would be the sort of person to come in and win the world title, you know. But then again, Samoa Joe, do you know what I'm saying? So it's like I think there's an outside chance. Obviously, technically could do it. Finn Balor, kind of, I'd put him in the same category as AJ.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit surprised if he left WWE.
Swerve is 0 for 3 on all 3 titles at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but obviously he's still easy. Brock, no. Finn again, Moxley. Kenny, by the time he gets to WWE, he would be like in his 40s, you know? Yeah, so,
I mean,
and I doubt he would do the jump. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not at this point in his career and like recovering from the diverticulitis and that. I don't think that he'll be signing another full-time contract after this AEW one.
Rollins. If he signed for AEW one, say if he did become a free agent and he was like, fuck WWE, they're not giving me what I want, you know. And he went to AEW. I do think there is a real chance he could become AEW World Champion. The IWGP thing is where I think it would fall apart. It's not exactly like the AEW things locally either, you know. So it's like, and Finn didn't win the world title in Japan.
No,
Finn didn't win the world title, so I wouldn't put him in the same category as AJ.
I guess if Okada goes to WWE after this contract and he wins the world title, which probably.
This is the real answer.
This is a very funny answer, and I support it because it's made me laugh. Yeah, I was going to say we have to.
They made the belt for her, so like, if
It's still going to
with
be
the
an achievement.
yeah, absolutely, it's still an achievement, and it still will add to her legacy, absolutely. And she can say she's the only woman to do it. Yeah,
She's probably the only woman to ever
yeah.
do it.
I was gonna say because Tony Storm, it was NXT, so you know what I mean. But like with the women, it wouldn't it be better to do like the World of Stardom title?
I
You
would
know?
agree because it's had a longer
Because that
tenure.
is the top women's title in Japan. Like, it
Yes.
is. Or if it was like old school, you do AJPW, like if you were trying to do like old school ones.
Have any
yeah,
of the women
Mercedes.
on the AEW roster held the World of Stardom title?
The women? Weren't Tony World of Stardom champion? Tony.
I'm not tapped into Stardom like
I
that.
think
So I
Jamie was a chat. Someone in the chat will tell us who held the world is not the Wonder of Stardom, not tag belts and stuff. Because obviously I know Mariah May wasn't a World of Stardom or anything. Tony did win the World of Stardom title.
Tony is the only one.
Um,
So they'd have to have someone jump from WWE that's held a world title there and in Stardom, which would be Io.
EO.
I'm just assuming she held.
Yeah, we're but either way, Osprey, because Osprey Osprey is the one because he's probably going to win the AEW World Title soon, like in the next 6 months soon. You know,
like August 25th soon. Not to put a date on it or anything, but
he's already been IWGP World Champion, and he is 30 years old. He could win the world title at 31 this August. Be at AEW for another 4 years. Leave as a former AEW World Champion, one of the greatest match resumes in the history of wrestling. Walking into WWE at like 35, you know. Yeah. So like, depending on how his body holds up, which is the biggest question, I'd say, and obviously if he would be wanting to go to WWE, I'd say Osprey has the best chance.
I think a couple of people in chat have said that he's a lifer, but things change, man. We don't know what's going to happen in 5 years.
He's only been there for 2 minutes, and it's it's easy to say that right now because he's just signed. He chose AEW, and Hunter took a shot at him.
Stranger things have happened. CM Punk is currently signed to WWE.
Exactly. The only person I'd say is like confidently not going back to WWE is Mox, and I still think like he'll probably go and get his Hall of Fame, you know, and
I think he'll be inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Get his Legends deal when he's, you know, when the time's right. Because like Renee will probably get some sort of job as well. But who knows? Like AEW might have like a really nice setup for like post-career wrestlers, you know, the way WWE kind of do. So we'll see. We'll see. Tony has said that the door's always open for Sting.
Yes. So. He still tweets about the company, so they pop up on my timeline sometimes, and they pop me quite a lot.
Who doesn't love Sting though? He's you know, and that was a great. You did. Yeah. How many of you got that in the end? There was a few of you, wasn't there? There was like 4 of you.
Lexi, Haley, Kylie, Ethan, Mike. So I think like 6.
Jesus. God bless, you know.
They made bank off us in that tattoo shop, like.
It's one of the most forgivable wrestling tattoos, you know.
Yes, because it's not like outwardly a wrestling tattoo. Like if you don't know, it's just a scorpion tattoo, isn't it? Like. Love Sting. Anyways, Dynamite.
Anyway, Moxley good, and Osprey is the only other person I think could realistically do what he's just done this past week. So, anyway, Anjan, $2. Appreciate you. My weekly Y2J rant. Who's taking one for the team?
I'm not sure I have anything to rant about.
Listen, we'll get to Jericho.
Yes,
I'm sure we'll get to something about that Christopher fella. GM £2. Appreciate it. When are you guys interviewing Nick Nemeth? I mean, I'm down. I need to get more proactive with like reaching out and networking with people. And that's not to say that Nick Nemeth would dive at the opportunity to be the WrestlePurist. But I'm just saying, obviously he's a free agent, so there's like kind of less barriers, you know. So I'll see if he could. I'll see if he's game. I'll try see if I can get a reply. You know. Yuzura Hart, $10. Appreciate it. It's hard not to feel deflated about Swerve being looked at as a transitional guy for Osprey. Mox opening the show with a second world title made me nervous about Swerve's presentation going forward. Mox's schedule, he's not going to be like parading around Dynamite every week with that belt, so don't worry about that. Then
he's back in Japan in 3 weeks.
Listen, man, if Swerve, obviously the direction probably is and probably should be Osprey in August at Wembley, you know, with Swerve winning it this weekend. So like, yeah, but it's not quite like just a transitional in the sense of
4 months. I wouldn't call that a transitional reign.
No, just because
everyone's
kind of know,
used to these
yeah,
year-long title reigns, like.
I mean, just because you kind of know the direction where they're probably going to go for the next champ doesn't necessarily mean he's just such a... Not everything's so like cut and dry and black and white, you know? But like, I do kind of get the sentiment behind it at the same time because like, there's absolutely an argument that many may say that I would even make that Swerve probably should already be world champion if it's the direction that he was going in, because with guys like Osprey, Okada, Mercedes coming in, especially Osprey, the way that the people have took to him, it's even down to last night, and Swerve had a good night last night in terms of crowd reactions and stuff like that, and just having a good hot angle, good promo, etc., etc., etc. Osprey still gets kind of like the reactions of the night for me, you know, and obviously he's fresh, he's new, he's so fucking good, you know, and he's kind of like embodies everything that AEW. It's like almost like if AEW started a few years earlier and they just got Prime Kenny, you know, like it's like he just embodies everything about AEW, like what they want AEW to be about, you know, what their fans want AEW to be about. So it's just like, of course, he's just caught fire, you know, and but that kind of happened with Hangman a little bit, you know, like when there was all these new additions who were like on for around the time he was like world champion, but they still managed to get like a good reign out of him, you know. The follow up to his reign was where it kind of falls apart, and I think if you was a Swerve Strickland fan, that's when you should kind of
that's what you should be circling to.
That's what you should be concerned. I think he'll have a good reign. He'll have opportunities to wrestle. Like, he'll probably get the Bryan Danielson match. You know, like he'll get the standard AEW title defense against Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
You know, and there's a bunch of top stars who he can have like great main events with, who he can have pay-per-view matches with, etc., etc., and have a good reign. It's just that because of kind of the depth chart and all these new pieces coming in that do need time, like those 3 signing, like Osprey, of course, it seems he's probably the easiest one to book, even though it's like he's going right to the top straight away. Okada needs a lot of time and effort into kind of have I froze? Did I freeze them? I froze on my end. Anyway, Okada needs a little time and effort and stuff. Mercedes clearly needs a lot of like time and effort going into it, especially when she's not wrestling at the moment. So, and she will continue needing to. And I'm talking about the future, but that's what I'd talk with Swerve after he drops the belt. If he drops it in August, that to follow up on it, and hopefully it doesn't kind of get lost in the shuffle, similar to like Hangman did, you know.
We're doing a whole lot of assuming. Like, everyone just assumes Osprey's the main event and that Swerve will have the belt. Like, they could completely swerve us and have Swerve face someone else. Like, we don't know what's going to happen at All In, but I think
Hangman still needs to come back. Yeah.
Hangman does still need to come back. I don't think he's coming back at Dynasty, but he does still need to come back. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's going to be a transitional reign. Like, Joe's held the title for the same amount of time. He's had it for 4 months. I wouldn't call that a transitional reign. Like, I don't know. I feel like people are like just jumping the barrel a little bit because of the summer period goes so fast. You forget that it's actually like 4 months because they have so much going on. I think there's plenty. I think Swerve's going to be just fine. I think he's going to have a great reign.
He'll be able to have a substantial reign where he can put his stamp on like the lineage of the title, you know.
He's going to be champ at Forbidden Door. They have the opportunity to do a really fucking cool match there. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So he's going to be champing a really cool period for the company as well, like you just mentioned. Yes. And he's, like I said, he'll be able to put his stamp on the world title, and of course he'll be the first black men's world heavyweight champion in AEW. So there's also that piece of history that's potentially most assume is getting made this weekend. But all right, back to AEW. So of course John Moxley just done his promo, and then we go to Mercedes Renee backstage promo, and woof. All right, so like she does it. She cuts the promo, and the promo is kind of about like she was attacked to the lights off, and like who maybe have done it. Obviously, the assumption is Julia, but there's also it might not have been Julia, and they did it because they didn't want, you know, obviously they don't want Mercedes to be 100% healthy when she's back at Double or Nothing, and etc. etc. And it's like the actual content of the promo was like solid / like fine. As in, like, what she actually said and kind of, like, ticking things off, you know, of what you need to kind of do with a wrestling promo content-wise. But it's like, her delivery, man, is so... I said WWE last week, so I'm trying to think of another word. Like, it's kind of, like, so, like, glossy. And it just doesn't feel... She doesn't feel like a real person at all. You know,
it feels very produced, like, which isn't something we see a lot in AEW. Like, normally, like, their backstage promos, like, even the ones that are produced, like the sit downs later in the show, they feel like more like human. Like, Mercedes just doesn't feel that way at the moment, which is weird. Like, I don't know whether it's because of she's like playing trying to play a baby face, and that doesn't play to her strengths. She's absolutely a heel, and they should turn her heel like immediately, to be honest. But I don't know. It was a weird promo, but it did pop me when she said at the end that there's a price to pay when you mess with Mercedes Moné. So who knows?
Yeah, the fact doing face promos throughout her career, even a Sasha Banks, has never really been kind of like her strong suit because of the way she comes across as kind of like this. Like I said, it's kind of like glossy WWE-esque kind of like almost. It's so kind of like performative and like kind of inauthentic. Whereas you can kind of get away with it if you're playing a heel, a villain. Do you know what I mean? When she can kind of be like a bitchy villain. Like it really, like she can really work with it. But yeah, it's just kind of it's tough at the moment with her because obviously Mercedes is best when she's just
wrestling.
Of course when she's wrestling. I'm talking like promos. Like her first promo in AEW is probably the best one because I know that like I don't know if it was reports or something, but like that was like heavily rehearsed. But it was also like the message she was delivering was obviously like important and real to her, and the fans could kind of like feel that in her, you know, like there was like almost like emotional for her, etc., etc., and it just felt authentic. And it's still to this day, I think the best thing she's done in AEW is that initial promo. So, but obviously, I thought she'd be wrestling like the week after that, but you know, Mercedes. Yeah, Mercedes isn't someone whose strengths are doing weekly like character progression without wrestling. You know, it's tough. I love Mercedes. She's one of the greatest wrestlers walking the planet right now. She's one of the greatest wrestlers alive. And I'm not hating on her or anything like that. I think she's a special talent, but it doesn't mean I think she's a 10-10 all-rounder in all areas. Those barely exist. I don't think there's probably one wrestler who's 10-10 in every single department, you know. There's wrestlers who have strong scores in every department, but 10-10 in every department, I don't think that exists, you know. And some of the great wrestlers have weak points. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think these sort of promos are a weak point of Mercedes Moné in the most
Yes.
loving way possible. You know,
We are
yeah, but
Mercedes
it's just
fans.
absolutely. But yeah, when you don't play on a wrestler's strengths for a prolonged period of time, like AEW are now with Mercedes, it's never great, even if it's passable. Like, I don't think anything she's done is like disgusting. Well, last week was like quite brutal, but like it wasn't like wrestle crap. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't. Nothing's gone. Like, everything's been at least passable, I think. So, but still, we ain't getting the Mercedes experience. Whatever, you know what I mean?
No.
It's a shame. Obviously, it's awkward that she hasn't. We assume she hasn't been cleared. Like, no one asked Tony on the media call today, but we assume Mercedes isn't cleared, but we don't fully know that. But of course, judging off what she's been doing and when her first match is still a long way away from now, you'd assume she's not
Over a month,
wrestling.
so.
I probably would have done an injury angle, so you can kind of make sense of like why is she not wrestling. If you know what I mean, like if you're not going to come out and tell us on a media call or a scrum or in some way or some form, do you know what I mean? Or Mercedes didn't tell us in that first promo, and she's going to do interviews saying she's 100% healthy and shit,
Yeah.
Like, at least do like an injury angle with her, so it's like, okay, we can kind of rationalize why she isn't fucking wrestling. Yeah. Whereas like in kayfabe, it makes no sense for Mercedes to come in and not wrestle for 2 months. Like, longer than that, I think. It's crazy.
Yeah, because it'll be like 10 weeks by the time we get to Double or Nothing. Jesus Christ, that is a long time to book someone with no matches.
Very, very long. And like I said, in kayfabe, especially when there's no reason for it, because I think like the actual like logical, real world reason is that that date that they got the TD Garden in Boston is probably the only time in this kind of like period of year they could have got the TD Garden, and they wanted to do it at the TD Garden because they thought they could have put a good house in it. Mercedes' hometown, she probably wanted to do it there, and it worked. It was great. Do you know what I mean? They got a really good house for it as well. But obviously, knowing if they did at the time that if she is or isn't cleared, kind of how you're going to fill that time, and it's just like, if you did like a cool injury angle. It's funny because they did like the attack in the dark angle with her, but it's just like...
It was like 3 weeks too late. Like, we've already like guessed that she's not going to be cleared, so now you're doing this like, I don't know. It's been very weird, but I'm going to continue giving them the benefit of the doubt until she actually gets in the ring, and I just hope that it's been worth it for the build up to Double or Nothing, and I think it will be.
I think it will be too, because if it is Willow, as most people would assume, it's like they were all like, if a lot of people probably may not remember, because of course the talk of coming out of the match was Mercedes like shattering her ankle to pieces, but that match was trending towards being like genuinely like quite special. I thought, probably maybe even better than like the Kyrie match that she had. So it's I think that match has a very, very high potential. Of course, there is like maybe there's a little bit of ring rust or something like that. But that will always be a possibility.
It'll be almost a year to a day if that's the match at Double or Nothing. Because if that match happened on like what, the 20th of May or something last year, and Double or Nothing's like the 26th. Maybe that's also why they're holding off. But then again, why would you debut it? I don't know. Wrestling's weird.
It is very weird in that sense.
I would have just had her say that she was too excited to come back, but she isn't cleared yet. Like, she just wanted to be back in wrestling, but she wasn't ready to wrestle. I would have much preferred that, and her just kind of like hanging around the division and having cool interactions with people backstage than whatever this is.
Someone said in the chat, when she said in a promo last night, when I'm cleared at Double or Nothing. She didn't say cleared, she said healthy again.
Yeah.
They don't want me to be healthy. And it's like, all right. But again, even if that was what she said, it's still not really exactly like clearly communicating. Like, I haven't been able to wrestle. That's what, do you know what I mean? It's like, I just think they could have kind of handled this time filling period better,
Ankle injuries are weird, man. Just look how like long Adam Cole's been out, and the fact that it was like reported the other day that he's not close to returning either. Like,
Yeah, you gotta build a lot of strength back up, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can't in wrestling, especially, you can't be having like fragile ankles.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
The one Panama Sunrise, fucking, it's
All
like,
it's jumping off a fucking ramp, like it's.
yeah.
You
Ankles
land
are
weird and
so
it's
very
gone.
weird.
Yeah. All the best to people recovering from injuries right now.
Absolutely, especially Mercedes if it includes her,
Mm-hmm.
because I need a wrestling man. I'm counting down the days to Double or Nothing like it's Christmas for her because this TV filler they're doing with her. It's not even like they're doing like this super dynamic, cool angle or anything. Like they're just doing like a who done it. Give Willow an evil look. You know, like it's just. Are we getting these promos that we have to talk about? Because
they really could have done the thing where they brought in Megan Bain with her, and her just choose opponents for Megan Bain every week. Like that's more interesting than what's going on. Like it would have been cool seeing her endorse a new talent like that.
I don't know, man.
Anyways,
it's like
people aren't going to be talking about this period in a year's time. They're going to be talking about all the great matches she has. So.
It's a weird one as well with Ada because you don't know. It's like we spoke about this like a few weeks ago. It's like we assume she's not cleared, but like she has been physical. So it's like with WWE, you'll know because when people are not cleared, like they don't even get in the ring. You know, it's like the
it was like really clear
spoke
with
about
Dakota
it.
Kai, yeah.
They don't even get in the ring if like physicality is about to ensue, you know. Whereas Mercedes is like hitting moves. It was an ankle injury. She's sprinting down the ramp with a chair or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like she's. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird, guys.
Very weird. Very, very weird.
Just bear with me, people. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of. This is authentic. You know, this is me just trying to rationalize this in my head.
Go around in circles about it, like.
So yeah, Mercedes Moné, man, not really playing to her strengths at the moment, and it seems like we're still a way away before they can do that. Although I love Mercedes, I don't think she's like absolutely doing anything terrible. It's just a long time to go without seeing one of the greats do what they do so great. Okay. Super chats. Anjan $2. The scapegoat and my EVPs will save this tag division. Amen. $2. Anjan again, appreciate it. Arsenal, KO, and Mariah loses the same day. Hashtag noticing.
That was unnecessary.
Very spiteful towards Charlotte. All right, next up. Adam Copeland and Willow Nightingale versus Brody King and Julia Hart of the House of Black. So Adam Copeland makes his entrance. Big pop. Always cool to see Adam Copeland do his thing, you know. Comes down. Here is I forgot the name of the song, but you know, everyone knows what song it is. Anyway, yes, there he is. All right, so Copeland's in the ring. He's waiting for Willow. Willow's music hits. Big pop for Willow, one of the biggest of the night, which always pops me to see like how much people love Willow like everywhere in the United States, you know. But she's not here. She's not here. She's been attacked in the back. We see it come up on the Titantron, and Stoke and Statlander and the doctor's with her, and she's like, "Oh, I can still do this." They're like, "I don't know. You got the title match this weekend, etc., etc." And yeah, man. Then the lights just go out. Lights go out in the entire arena. Brody ambushes Edge. Julia's at the top of the stage, laughing it all up, having a good time. Strolls down to the ring, ready for this tag match, if you will, which is basically starting off as a handicap. Brody beats the shit out of Edge for a bit, throws him in the ring, and Aubrey just starts the match, Charlie. I don't know what Aubrey's got against Adam Copeland, but she just starts the match.
Yeah, there's one half of the TV. Let's go. It's like, all right, I guess.
I
feel snubbed. I was very excited for this match. I was like genuinely excited about this.
Well, it did end up being good, but definitely worrying at the start if you wanted to see like a proper match, you know. But yeah, Brody just kind of like beat the shit out of Edge for quite a bit, and this works with somebody like Brody King because he
Yeah.
actually has the offense to fill the space given to him. And also, Copeland's over enough for the crowd to actually want to build towards a comeback. And when he starts making it, they really get with it. A great example of this is like the way Copeland finally fights his way like back up and gets back up on top for a moment, and the crowd starts to believe in him, and he fires up, and he gets in the corner, and you're like, this is it. He's firing up, and boom, Brody just kills him with a fucking lariat. Just lovely stuff, mate. You know.
It was very
And then they're both down in the middle of the ring. Willow struggles her way down to the ring. You know, starts slapping the turnbuckle, getting that hot tag. Hits a crossbody to Brody. Edge hits a spear. Willow hits a cannonball on Brody King. But Julia gets in from behind with a chain, knocks out our poor Willow, and locks in a submission, gets the win. Literally. Locks in the submission, but she's already out, so the referee stops it. House of Black get the win. And Julia don't let go of the submission, does she? That's kind of the heat they're getting on Willow. And then Mercedes comes down with the chair, as I just mentioned, and she clears the ring, kind of just looks at Willow, and then eventually she drops the chair, puts hands up like, "Oh, more friends here," and shakes hands with Edge. And
that popped me. Seeing them in a ring together didn't. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And she posted a picture of her like when she was younger with like Edge. Long hair Edge.
God bless.
But yeah, Charlie, this was Edge Copeland. Sorry, people do that a lot. You know, I've been calling him Edge for the past 20 years, so forgive me. You know, it's still new to me. But yeah, Copeland gave Brody King a lot, didn't he? And like I said, Brody's great, man. So what did you think of this as someone looking forward to it? You know?
Yeah. Brody's a great person to actually like give a lot to in a match because, like you said, he's got the offense to fill those gaps, and they had a great dynamic between them. Like Adam Copeland, like his ability to still be this like underdog babyface, like this long into his career, and have the fans so behind him, it's like really admirable. The fact that people don't get sick of it, to be honest. Like, but no, I did really enjoy this for what it was, but I'm just assuming that Julia's a little bit fucked going into this pay-per-view because she did not take any offense. Like, she did not get hit with anything in this. And listen, man, if they had to do... No, she kicked Edge at one point. Like, she locked in a headlock, like, through the ropes. Like, she didn't do anything. Like, and you got to do what you got to do to get to the pay-per-view, I guess. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I am a little bit sad they didn't just sub in Sky Blue or something. They love putting her on TV every other time. Like, you could have just subbed in Sky Blue. It would have been fine. But
they have kind of chilled out with that in 2024.
They have.
To be fair. The Sky Blue every week.
Yeah.
The Sky Blue Orange Cassidy run.
Oh, God bless. Yeah. But yeah, no, I did enjoy it. I think that there was really good work here. And it didn't overstay its welcome either, I don't think. Which is sometimes the issue with opening matches on Dynamite. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love Willow, man.
Me too.
I'll say every segment we have to review about. I think she's just so infectious, you know. She's just she's such an easy babyface to get behind, you know, and
Absolutely.
she can do the walk as well, you know. She's so she's good in ring, and she just kind of she just gets it, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool seeing her hit the crossbody on Brody King.
Yeah.
See her get 2 pops, you know, one when the music hit and one when she actually made it to the ring. One when she got tagged in as well, because Copeland did like the old foot tag gimmick,
yes.
You know.
God bless.
Yeah, Copeland's smart, man.
Copeland's
smart. It's probably the match he needed to, even without the jump start or the Willow kind of like angle or anything like that. Kind of in terms of like the Brody and the Copeland aspect of it, the kind of probably the match they should have wrestled. You know.
I agree. I do agree.
Not Charlie said. Didn't overstay its welcome. I thought it was quite well paced. Is it again with Brody King? If that was kind of just your average big man who's just like okay, he's like that could have got very boring, you know. But Brody King's is a different animal. He's very, very good.
Willow stealing Brody's bark gimmick every time they interact makes me laugh every time because the crowd still gets so into it. That is a match I want to see booked on the indies, man. Someone should book it. They have great chemistry in the ring from like the few interactions we've seen. Because AEW won't book it at this point. We already know that. So, Prestige, someone, please.
They are. The AEW won't book it, but I guess the cool flip side is like AEW would let like a Deadlock Pro book that. Do you know what I mean? Like they would let that happen.
Did you see the match that they've booked Roddy Strong in?
He's funny, Arbe. He's wrestling Arbe, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes. I was like, damn, maybe I will go back to North Carolina.
That's one of the few indie matches that I'd watch because like, with Roddy as well, like he's not just gonna like kind of just like like that's Roddy. Roddy don't know how to do that. Like he's a wrestling machine, as one of our Hall of Famers once said. He's a machine built for graps. Alright. Speaking of Hall of Famers and legends of the business, as Roddy Strong does call himself a wrestling legend. I'm not talking about Roddy Strong. I'm talking about Samoa Joe having a sit down with Renee. I thought this was genuinely like masterful stuff from Samoa Joe. Yeah. It wasn't just like a good listen and good watch in the sense of like Joe just kind of entertaining, has great delivery. It said all the things that everyone's been saying about Joe for years now. It's like when I look at wrestling promos, it's about what do they achieve? Do they have a point? Does it make me more excited for the match? Does it make me hate this heel more? Does it make me like the babyface more, etc., etc.? Joe somehow ticked like 9 of these fucking things in like a 3-minute promo. So Renee asked him about Swerve holding the title above his head like last week or whenever it was, and Samoa Joe kind of looking like all crazed about it, and Samoa Joe being kind of like shaken by this because he's so normally calm and collected, and he asked about Swerve, and he thought Swerve was at one point a worthy adversary, but now he's more of a nuisance who just keeps getting off no matter how many times I put him down. He isn't someone who's faster, stronger, smarter than me or anything. He just keeps getting up. And when Swerve held that belt above his head, he was worried about somebody having his property in the wrongful hands of somebody who will never own it, who will never possess it, worried it would need to be disinfected. Where Nana's been. Like, it was even funny. Like, he even got like a funny line in there, where Nana's been. And then he goes into this thing about calling Swerve Strickland a choke artist, and that history will repeat itself at Dynasty. But yeah, at Dynasty, don't worry about being a choke artist because he'll be the one to put him to sleep. He'll be the one to choke him out instead. And it's just he somehow makes himself look like a beast because he's Samoa Joe and his delivery is so like clean. He's like there's almost like a melody to it, like he's just dropping bars, like it's just like, he's just different level, And whilst he's doing this, he also he's not accidentally, he's absolutely purposeful, but in terms of his character, he's also like underhandedly like. I don't know how to explain it. Like he's almost like putting Swerve over in a way that
he's
like
acknowledging he's a great opponent without actually giving him credit for that.
Yeah, and he's like using things against him that would actually endear him to the audience. Like he keeps getting up, you know, and like he does spin it and say that makes him more prerequisite to being a punching bag than a champion, and he does put that spin on it, but. He plants that seed in the audience's head, which obviously is what they've been trying to do with this feud. Swerve just keeps coming, he just keeps getting up. Then he also later on in the promo, kind of like the point, what he nails home in the promo of just like, he's a choke artist. Every time he's wrestled for a bout, he's choked. And he even puts in a little smart line about like, just when he gets so close, he swerves just off target. Like he's just dropping bars on these people, Charlie.
I don't think he's had a bad promo as champion. Like all of them hit. Like they've all been special in their own way. Like I really enjoyed last night's as well. Like he really like made this feud feel like big time, which the TV hasn't really done other than the last couple of weeks, like since the contract signing. But like outside of that, like they kind of meandered between the build between Revolution and Dynasty. But they're back on track, and that is largely due to the fact that Samoa Joe is Samoa Joe, and I don't think any other wrestler could really cut a promo like that and it sound as genuine and as like important and make the feud feel big time. So great world champion. I've enjoyed his reign quite a lot.
He's, like I said, it's just masterful, and almost like kind of like the best part about all this, other than the fact he managed to achieve all these different things with this one promo in 3 minutes, is the fact that like it's like it's fucking nothing to him, you know? It's like he's just strolled in there. They've said roll the cameras, and Joe's just dropping bars with Renee. Like it's just, he's one of the best in the world today on the mic. No, I'm not even talking about like his resume as an actual fucking like, wrestler, because like he's been around at a very high level for over 20 years now. I think he's got one of the best peaks in the history of the business. But literally, just as a promo guy, like I think he's one of the best on the planet right now, and I think he's probably in the all-time category, to be honest. So, I love Samoa Joe, man. I do love. So if people can't tell already,
real world champ.
That's bars, Charlie. That's bars. You know, the people don't know nothing about that. You know.
I just wish he had like 1 or 2 more defenses. But other than that, the reign's been pretty perfect. Like, I don't think they could have booked him much better. But that is largely in part to the fact that he is Samoa Joe. Like, you give him the time, he's going to make magic on TV. Like,
I don't really think a bad Samoa Joe reign in not going forwards or in recent times can really exist. Because it's like, if he's not getting to defend it much, he can just fucking talk. You know, and so the king of television reign and everything. You know, he's just so good. He's just so good, and he can work with like any opponent. And you know, the only time he's kind of like had slight misses in AEW is when he's matched up with other big men. Yeah. I think when it's booked as something that it was never ever going to be in the first place. Like Joe isn't gonna do like the meaty man slapping meat. Running into like he's not gonna like.
That's not his thing.
Yeah, he's almost like cheap to him. You know, he's too good for that. But yeah, shout out Samoa Joe. Great promo on the Go Home Dynamite. Doing his thing so well to build this pay-per-view match with Swerve Strickland, who we'll be seeing later on. I know this probably popped you quite a lot, Charlie. The Young Bucks FTR video package is on for about 3 seconds. No, 10 seconds. No, not even that. Before you hear Matt and Nick talking over it, like, no, get it off. Don't like this. What is this? Get it off. Put it down. All right, cool. Then it cuts to them like they're in like Gorilla, and it's. Obviously, it's the Elite, it's the Bucks, and it's Okada. And they cut just kind of like a quick promo, you know, just kind of a quick promo on the people they're facing at Dynasty. Okada says Pac will not make it to Dynasty. And then they tell TK to play their music. And TK just does it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, he didn't even look that mad about it or anything. He just kind of did what he was told by the EVPs, Charlie. But this probably popped you a lot, didn't it? This little segue into the match.
I genuinely laughed out loud. Like when like Matt's voice came around, I was just like, what the fuck's going on? But like the whole like bumping your segment thing, they're just leaning into like these like behind the scene wrestling things that we hear about sometimes. Like, and it just makes me laugh every time the way that they like display it, because it's so ridiculous. And again, it's another little segment that didn't overstay its welcome, and I thought it was very funny. And it was a very good lead into the match. They're just ridiculous, and I cannot wait for Dynasty, honestly. I don't even like ladder matches. I just need to see him win the belts.
I think I'm not the least mad at all of WrestlePurists about it being a ladder match.
Oh,
Like,
nah, like AO, Chris and that lot, like they're like quite excited about it. I just don't like ladder matches. Like I've really gone off them.
I'm not big on myself.
Like the Wardlow Christian ladder match from Double or Nothing, I think last year. People loved it. I hated that match. Like I really didn't like it. But I don't know. I think watching like 3 ladder matches or 4 ladder matches in a day last Mania weekend, not the one just gone in the one in 2023. That was like the turning point for me. I was just like, wow, this stipulation fucking sucks. But it's the Young Bucks, so who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, the Bucks love them. The Bucks
They
love
do.
them, so
They've wrestled many of them.
It's like even in that SI article recently where they were interviewed by Justin. It's like they talk about like, bro, if more people saw those ladder war matches that we had, then they'd be up there as like the greatest matches of all time. Like they love those matches.
With the Machine Guns, who we'll probably end up talking about at some point, and Addiction, like Frankie and Christopher Daniels. That is like probably one of my favorite ladder matches of all time. It's fucking nuts. Like the Ring of Honor, I think it was the Ring of Honor one. Like absolutely crazy. I haven't watched it in about a year, but I should go back to it at some point.
And they know how to get
masters of it.
Yeah, they know how to get like crazy and wild and chaotic out there, and really kind of capture what you'd want a ladder match to be. You know, so
it'll be interesting to see how they do it with the new gimmick though, because they're not wrestling the same way. So, anyways, getting ahead of myself.
But at least
we kind of saw it in the Sting Derby tag match at Revolution, though.
That's what I was about to say, but like that is also kind of a hard comparison because of
that match was
what
so
it was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously, this will be Tornado as well because it's a ladder match. So,
yeah.
There is some you can draw some parallels definitely, but
yeah,
obviously the Sting factor, the Greensboro Coliseum factor,
the glass,
the
Derby,
the Derby factor,
yeah,
pretty much everything. But
I just have this vision of Cash Wheeler being at like the top of the ladder and Jack Perry just running in the ring and tipping him off and him going through a table. Like I don't know why I have this vision, but I can very much see that happening. Yeah, but it was the same with the finish to the triple threat at Revolution with Hangman tapping out as Swerve tried to make the save, and that happens. So who fucking knows?
But yeah, the books are definitely popping themselves in Gorilla, and there's someone I was gonna say about it, but I can't remember. So anyway, the Elite, which is the no, it's not. That was complete. Even before you started, I was like, what was I gonna? But anyway, the Elite versus the new Elite, as I'll call them, versus Daniel Garcia, Pac, and Penta. Good match, man.
Yeah, Red Death Triangle.
I guess the most notable thing to take away, well, not to take away, but the most notable thing that I enjoyed this match was when they were getting heat on Daniel Garcia, Matthew decided to grab a mic and commentate on his own match. And he's commentating from the outside. He tags in and he's still commentating. He gets hit with a suplex. He's in the air and he's still commentating. He's put me down. We're good, Daniel. We're good.
Telling the ref he's not going to hit him with it. Oh, we call a lot of Bucks matches like PWG-esque. Like this was peak PWG. Like
yeah, with all the set pieces as well.
Yeah,
and kind of the silliness of it.
Like the way that it like started out kind of slow, then they did like this like funny gimmicky bit in the middle, and then they had like an insane closing stretch where everyone was in the ring constantly. Like I love this match. If you couldn't tell, I was a very big fan.
Cool. Pac is so sharp as well, isn't it? Oh, Jesus.
I'm so excited for that singles match.
Especially like considering he's been back like a month, less than a month, whatever the fuck it's been, you know, like he's so sharp and he's so smooth normally, but I think it's even more striking at the moment because he's coming off such a long period of time. It's like how
absolutely you forget how good he is. He's genuinely so fucking good, and he doesn't get enough recognition of it for it because obviously he's had like loads of time off, which isn't necessarily his fault. But bro, He is one of the most reliable wrestlers, I think, in terms of in-ring ability. Like, the way he bounces back from time off is crazy.
It's like he doesn't miss time off. The only way you could tell is
exactly.
because his physique is a little bit smaller. You know, he's
Yeah.
still got an insane physique, but he is like a little bit
Still
lighter.
bulky.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than like in ring wise, he's just so sharp. But yeah, man, like, I think it was last week or the week before where like Penta had that singles match that went through 2 ad breaks that had
That was
me
awesome.
had me in immense amounts of pain. I think at
So
one point I said I don't want to see Penta have a singles match on AEW television again.
Yes.
And mate, I think I did preface it by saying that, you know, I do love Penta. I think he's cool. I think he's great and everything.
Yeah.
I think he can be great, etc. I don't think he's like a bad wrestler. I just think like, you know, there's just certain ways you should probably use him, you know. I think this adds to the case even more so because like Penta in these short bursts here, just getting his shit off at the right times and stuff like that. Like he's awesome. He's fucking awesome. Like
he's great.
It's not like a different wrestler because he has his certain things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't say it's a completely different wrestler, but it's as close to that. Like it's when he can just when he plug him in short bursts, get his shit off, hit his move or take a move or whatever it is, and just do some cool shit. Awesome stuff. So yeah, I really like Penta in this. Like I said, Pac's so sharp. Okada was looking good in this. I really like the tombstone spot when he ducks the sling blade from Penta as well. Because obviously, you know, if anyone knows how to counter a sling blade, it would be Okada.
Yeah.
It's cool that Excalibur like mentioned that as well. But yeah, then they end up killing poor Daniel Garcia.
Poor Daniel Garcia. After him tweeting about, like, I'm not going to be the young guy that gets bitched. Brother. that
Rainmaker.
And that was a stiff Rainmaker. He buried his arm in his chest. Like,
he did.
Like, Danny was, like, fucking pulling his shoulders forward, like, in the pin, because I guess it hurts so much he physically couldn't have his shoulders packed, like, for the pin. It was very funny. Like, no one mentioned it either. I was surprised at the time. I wasn't like, well, Danny's shoulders weren't actually down, but... because they were. He
got nailed, you know? He did get nailed by that Rainmaker, man. So,
good stuff. I would like to see the singles match at some point. But I've been advocating for that for a while now, so...
I think there's a chance to go to it because...
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, Garcia, he is, like, friends with FTR. You wouldn't say, like, he's their best friends or anything like that. And obviously, Penta was in the ring who you can link to Pac as well. Yeah. So they kind of find it interesting at the end of the match that, like, they got all the heat on Garcia. You know, like, they hit him with the EVP trigger and they set him up for the ladder thing, and Penta was just kind of lying there. And obviously, Okada's wrestling Penta, but, you know, and FTR weren't there to make the save either. Do you know what I mean? So it does make me think that it has to be leading in something a little bit more significant with Daniel Garcia. You know, maybe a continental match against Okada or something like that, you know? Or maybe it's just like a trios match with, you know, DG, FTR, and the New Elite. I don't know.
They announced that for Collision.
Isn't that?
Did I make this up? Hang on, I wrote it down.
Is it Garcia?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Who else would it be?
Okay.
No. Wait. No, it's Pac and... Wait, I've confused myself.
Isn't it Pac and FTR?
It's Pac and FTR. Okay, I don't know why I thought it was.
Yeah. So you had me. Could you, Charlie? You know me so good. You know what I mean. You had me second guessing things that I was certain I saw with my own eyes. You know what I mean?
Not bad. Maybe I just really want to see Danny in these matches.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's how much they should book it. That Charlie was going into Saturday thinking it was what she was going to see. You know, I had like a brain malfunction last night as well. Like, Osprey made his entrance, right? Because I went to an ad break, didn't I? Osprey made his entrance, and I was like, let's go, Bryan Danielson. You know,
get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, then like 10 seconds later, I was like, wait, it's Claudio. Well, let's fucking go. You know, Claudio's great. I'll take it. So,
It's been a long day. I think we can be forgiven for my faux pas.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, even though did he get the hit on DJ, as I mentioned,
Yes.
Pat
Maybe that's why.
Pat got his claw hammer or whatever it is that he has.
The ring bell
Clears the
hammer.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
Pac and his eternal beef with the Elite. Is he ever not feuding with them? Because I feel like I've never seen Pac in a feud that isn't linked back to the Elite.
Hey man, they must love working. I would love working with him as well. So.
Yeah, me too. I don't get tired of it, but it's just very funny to me that he missed all that time off and he came back and he's back with the Elite. Like,
Yeah.
God bless.
A couple of super chats. Anjan again, $2. Prince Harry signed with US of A. # Prince Joseph Hall. But well, hold on.
That is what? Hello.
Hold on. Match 184, 199. Appreciate it as always. Listen, Gato, give me Samoa Joe versus Mox title match in Japan. I mean, I'll take that anywhere. I'll take that anywhere. Japan, of course, adds an extra layer of novelty to it, you know. But,
I'll take that on a Collision. I think we did want that on a Collision at one point. We thought Mox was going to call Joe out, and it never happened.
Yeah, that was absolutely the direction we thought Mox was going to be heading into before he took his like little hiatus.
Indeed.
But yeah, so I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything relevant that's been booked for Dynasty, because obviously Mox isn't on Dynasty.
He's not.
But he's wrestling Hobbs next week on Dynamite. Mercedes isn't on Dynasty, but she's going to be involved probably in some way.
I imagine.
Yeah, anyway. Mercedes will probably be on the show, but not in a match, obviously, as we already know. Copeland, Copeland's in that trios match. So there's that with Briscoe and Eddie versus House of Black. You know, maybe the singles match out of this feud is Copeland and Brody in a singles match. You know,
I'll take it.
Obviously, Copeland and lost. Copeland and Willow lost yesterday. You know,
yeah.
The majority of the match was Brody beating the shit out of fucking Copeland. Yeah. You know, maybe you want a singles match where you give Copeland a little win, or you do the shock, and you know.
I think there's somewhat of a chance that Eddie turns here.
Oh.
I don't know. I think he's either going to turn and be a heel, or after he drops the New Japan Strong Belt he's going to take time off. Because there's just something about the way that he's approaching wrestling at the moment that feels a little bit off. And I don't know whether it's because of there's a heel turn coming or if he needs time off because of injuries. Like, me and Holbert spoke about it when he wrestled Okada. Like, the way that he was wrestling was very reminiscent of just before he took time off because of the hernia surgery. So it was like, that was like part of the reason I thought that match was a bit odd. But I'm not speculating that Eddie's injured because of I want him to take time off. It's just a weird feeling. I don't know. But I hope it's the heel turn because I predicted that a while ago. We'll see.
Yeah.
Also,
hopefully it's neither.
Hopefully it's neither.
Hopefully it's neither. I don't want him to be a heel and I don't want him to be injured. So,
yeah. Also related to this trios match, not related to Eddie. Do you think they've purposely swerved from having Garcia relate like in Copeland's bubble to get people to stop talking about Garcia being the one to take off the TNT title from him? Because I think it might end up going to Jack Perry instead.
I'm not sure about it going to Jack Perry instead. I do think that is potentially possible, though. Won't write it off. But I definitely do think there's probably quite a bit to Garcia being out of the Copeland orbit. Don't want to call it the Copeland universe because that makes it sound like a negative Jericho vortex kind of thing. But yeah, I do think he's been taken away from the Copeland thing because people want to see him win that first singles title, man. People
They
want to
do.
see it. I'm not sure how much of a ratings hit it would be or anything like that, or commercially how it would do. But
Yeah,
in terms of like the AEW core audience, like they've been waiting for that, man. They want to see
absolutely.
it for him. And one of the wrestlers that it feels like a lot of the fan base is like genuinely like rooting for. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, on top of just like he's a good wrestler that we want to see do cool shit, like people are actually like rooting for him and shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, he actually has a really cool story as well, which I don't think
Yes. Yeah.
AEW do the best.
They don't highlight it enough.
You know, I don't know how Garcia feels about highlighting like his previous
Yeah.
injuries and stuff like that, but you know, still, people love the kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Absolutely.
think there is something
No,
to that. Charlie,
I
Professor
it was
Purist.
just weird to me that like because I was so dead set on the fact that Garcia was beating Copeland at Dynasty. Like I thought Copeland was gonna have like a really short reign, and then they started all this House of Black business. I was like, all right, there's something purposeful here. Obviously, Garcia still has beef with House of Black, but he's not involved in this trios match. Like I don't know, which comes back to is Eddie turning on Mark because Mark being like I don't know. Anyways, I think about these things a lot. If you couldn't tell,
I mean, it gives us stuff to talk about, you know. Especially when
it
we're
all
running
comes
this, we're
back.
running a 2-man game here. You know, it's what we got. It's
Yeah,
what we got to do. It's what we
it
got
all
to
comes back to the Bucks versus Copeland and Christian at All In. That's what it all comes back to.
do. Everything, you know.
Everything at the
Everything
moment.
circles that this Eddie Hill turn, everything
Yeah,
somehow.
Jack
like,
Perry being the one to beat Copeland, like he's gonna need to turn to someone for help when it comes to someone that has
mhm.
experience with Jack Perry, someone that has experience with the Bucks. Who better than his longtime friend Christian Cage? Like I don't know, it makes sense.
Hey man, I'm picking up what you're
I
putting
just
down,
really
Charlie.
want, I just really want
I'm
this
with it.
match at Wembley. I'm very biased.
I think you've convinced me into wanting this for you as well. You know, when you get into the when one of your friends wants something so bad, you're just like, you know
Yeah,
what? I'm also on this ride with them now.
I
Like,
wrote a whole feature about it. You should go read it if
exactly,
you haven't. I thought it was pretty good.
absolutely,
It's pinned on my Twitter.
absolutely. Go check that one out.
Have a new feature coming out at some point eventually soon. I don't know when. Probably after Dynasty. The one that I put in the group chat the other day. I'm not going to spoil it because no one's tweeted about it, so I want it to be like, like about this idea. It's like yes. Anyways,
anyways, back to AEW
tangents.
Dynamite. All right.
I don't have someone audience.
All right. Lionheart, Chris Jericho, and
Oh,
Hulk.
actually, can we go back to talking about my theories? I have so many of them. I can feel dead air.
We got theories about this.
Have we?
I mean, surely, Lionheart, Chris Jericho, and Hook have a talk, which is mediated by Taz,
Mm-hmm.
and you know Jericho goes into his promo. He calls Shibata last week just collateral damage. Just buries him.
Crazy.
And he goes into obviously this is part of the character he's doing, but like he goes into this like egotistical rant about Hook should listen to him, how everyone who has gone through the Jericho vortex has came out a better wrestler and a better person, and he pleads with Hook to sit under the Jericho learning tree. And yeah, there's like 2 minutes of this, and then Hook is just like, no. And then
Well, that was pretty beast.
Jericho calls Hook stupid. Taz tells him to chill. Jericho tells Taz that Jericho is just doing what Taz should have been doing for the last 30 years and giving his kid some guidance, some proper guidance.
Hook's 24.
Anyway, there's holes in this all over the place, right? Anyway, he needs proper guidance, and he tells Hook that the reality of it is that he's not as good as he thinks he is, and Taz tells him to chill again. And that is when Jericho, again, cuts him off, pushes him down, and the crowd's like, you just fucked up. Hook drops his bag of chips. You know, it's serious, Charlie. You know, shit's about to get real. And
Absolutely.
yeah, Hook just grabs him by the collar, pushes him up into the corner, and just tells him like, "Yo, anytime, any place," and tells Jericho to get out of his ring. And
Mm,
Jericho is just kind of like, "Okay," and I'm expecting him to like do a full on turn here, like hit him
yeah,
with a
me
Judas
too.
effect or low blow him on his way out, and he just leaves, bro.
Doesn't he? Just left.
he just he just left,
What did
and
this achieve?
I mean,
Who could possibly care?
nothing, especially in the sense of, like, with that, you could have said, well, Jericho, it was the most heelish thing Jericho has done so far. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? In this kind of, whatever you want to call it, you know? Or obviously the tag match you could argue as well, but this is like
yeah,
him like really ramping it up. But like you could have just done it properly and just have him like take out Hook. But that being said, the worst part about this is the fact that it even existed in the first place. You know,
yes.
Jericho consistently getting kind of like this TV time, like this, like, and it's not just like a 1 minute promo. Like, he gets given like real space to like flesh out
Hmm.
his feuds and shit, you know, like,
Hmm.
and that's the actual problem. So like, when the segment starts, it's automatically like, fuck, you know,
Yep.
and then there's nothing about it to drag you back in. Jericho's just trying to get his fucking trademark catchphrases over, whether it's part of his character or not. I don't fucking care, you know? Like,
Pretty fucking brutal.
I'm not interested in it. I don't want to see it. I feel like Hook could be doing so much better things, and the only upside of it is that Hook is getting TV time, but it's not exactly productive TV time. It's
Hmm.
just him being on TV. Um,
Cutting promos, which he should not be doing.
yeah, and you know, I guess like in a vacuum, like it wasn't like horrendous or anything. You know, like Jericho, like being completely like lacking self awareness, and you know, the getting heat on Taz and etc. etc. But it's just kind of like there's just no need for it. You know, there's
No?
no one's clamoring for this. It doesn't need the TV time it's been given over the past month or so. It just Jericho exhaustion is higher than it's ever been. It's
Why
just
is
tough,
this a
man.
pay-per-view match? And not even a pre-show match. This is on the main card. Like what
Yeah.
I don't understand where the value added is of this feud to a pay-per-view like Dynasty that already has matches like Osprey versus Bryan Danielson. Like, what does Jericho wrestling Hook in an FTW rules match for like, what, 10, 12 minutes? What is this adding to the pay-per-view? Literally nothing. It's just Jericho getting time that he doesn't need because
Getting his
no
shit
one
off.
wants to see him. It's it's brutal. It's
And he's gonna fucking win as well, isn't he? Like,
he is, and that's
he's
the
gonna
worst
fucking
about it. He's not even gonna put
oh,
Hook over again in like a decisive way. He's gonna win. He's gonna have this fucking FTW belt that he's gonna defend on a weekly basis because he's Jericho and he needs TV time. Maybe I did
yeah.
have a rant for this.
So I mean, it's just heartbreaking stuff.
It
You know,
gets it gets me real riled up because of there's so much good on Dynamite most of the time. We won't talk about last week. That was an episode.
it's a
Like,
weird week.
yeah, but there's always so much good on Dynamite and so much to like. And then Jericho comes out. It's just like, for fuck's sake, I don't want to talk about this. Oh,
But yeah, as Charlie mentioned, we got a pay per view match out of this segment, and
we sure fucking did.
Chris Jericho, Hook, FTW Championship, FTW rules. Oh no, man! It's just bizarre to me. You know, I know Jericho is probably on like a huge deal because he re-signed when like the narrative around him weren't like as bad as it is now. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think it was like Ocho times. Do you know what I mean? Like that was like probably the last time. That was like the last bit. You know, because with Jericho, it's like there's especially it's kind of like I don't know. So either as a reviewer or either as someone who has watched Jericho's career over the years, it's like he has gone through phases where it's like it's probably time for him to like kind of like not retire, but like slow it down and kind of move on a bit. He's had his run, you know. Then he'll just come back with something fresh, You know what I mean? And it'll work. You get me? And he's even done that a
Don't let
couple
him
times
catch wind
in
of this.
AEW.
Don't let him catch wind of that. He'll trademark it.
No. Even like I said, even in AEW, he's had a few moments where it's like, all right, get this. Then he'll come back with like, you know, the Ultra thing. Like I said, was like the latest example of it, and there was times even before that where, you know, you'd think like, yo, get this geezer off my TV, then he'd come back with something kind of cool, and you know. But the latest few times where he's tried to like reinvent himself, it's just kind of like, it's just brutal. It's just this is actually it this time
anymore. Like, he's just going back to the Lionheart gimmick because people aren't singing Judas anymore, and it's like, ugh. I think they really need to seriously look at their roster and think about what is Jericho doing that someone that's got more fanfare can still put on higher quality matches and isn't actively turning away fans that they could slot into the role. Because there's so many veterans they could do that with. Like, they have people. I don't want to see Jericho booked anymore. I'm terrified of what he's going to do at All In. I'm really scared.
It can't be as no, you can't. That's the thing as well. That's why it's actually like kind of a broader issue, because it's like, I was about to say, like, it can't be as absurd as last year, because like last year, he called his shot early, you know, in the sense that like he told people in AEW what match he wanted, and maybe he had to like negotiate a little bit for it. Like, I'm not saying that they just gave him Osprey. I don't know, you know what I mean, but I do know that was Jericho's initiative from quite early on. You know, like, yo, I want Osprey at Wembley. He knows what he's doing, you know, and it was a good match, man. It was a good match.
Yeah, it was.
But you know, I was about to say he won't get anything as absurd as last year, but there is a chance it can be as absurd as last year.
No
like Jericho.
one tell him how much people want to see Zack Sabre Jr. at this show. Please, no one tell him.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, that is absolutely on the cards, I think.
Because he'll make it a bit. He'll make it a bit of being the guy to bring in cool British talent. Like, the fact that he could probably swing an opening match with Michael Oku, like, as much as I like Michael Oku, it's something that Jericho would do to get on the All-In card to pop himself. Like, it is a genuine issue with this man.
Yeah, like I said, it could that you shouldn't have said that Zack Sabre Jr. thing out loud. Like,
I shouldn't have, because now
you should have spoke that into the universe, because now that you've said it, it feels like the exact match he's going to ask for.
This is what I'm saying, though. He finds the people. Like, even with Forbidden Door last year, he ended up in a match with fucking Naito. Like, the people was desperate to see Naito on that card because he wasn't the year before. And he ended up in a six-man against fucking Jericho. Like, I don't understand how this keeps happening.
Anyway.
I'm really upset about Jericho, apparently. So sorry.
Enough. You know, enough. Enough. Yeah, literally enough for Jericho.
Yes.
Moving forward. Swerve Strickland, it's his time to sit down with Renee now, and he's just replying into what Joe had said about him being like a choke artist and stuff.
Yes.
And he says that, you know, I do always get back up. You know, that's my military upbringing, warrior ethos. You know, never quit, never give up. And he's going to beat Samoa Joe this weekend. And Renee asks him, you know, what makes you so confident? And he says, all respect to you, Renee, but that's something I should be saying to Samoa Joe to his face. So that's what I'm going to do. And he tells Joe that he's going to see him tonight. And yeah, man. Short, sweet, good stuff. Swerve's eyes, he's still got like the eye shadow on to make it look like he hasn't slept in 6 years. Oh.
Since the coffin match, man.
Do you think the eyeshadow, like, do you think his eyes will go to normal when he wins the world title? Like,
yeah, finally get
it'll lift the curse.
That would be a good bit. It's funny. It is a funny little character quirk.
It is a little bit weird, but you know.
I've got to say though, like, yeah, it is like the Swerve's House chants in this segment were like fucking insane. Like, even in the Joe segment, we didn't mention it, but like he was talking and like obviously it's a pre-tape, but the crowd were like, you could hear him doing the Whose House Swerve's House. Like, they've chosen him, man. Like, Swerve is the people's wrestler at the moment. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. Of
Very
course,
happy for him.
Swerve, he plans to meet Joe out in the ring later tonight. So, moving on to one super chat. Jericho Donnelly, $5. Jericho currently speed dialing TK to pitch a match with Zack Sabre Jr. All in. Thanks, Charlie. That's
It's
what I mean,
fine.
man. She shouldn't have said it, bro.
I won't tweet about it. It's fine. It's only when I tweet about it.
She really shouldn't have said it. But yeah, keep the super chats coming. Running a 2-man booth. You know, we appreciate the help with topics. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dynamite. That's the wrong name. I wrote Tony Storm, but it was Mariah May versus Deonna Purrazzo. And I thought this match got off to a good start. It had a rough middle / picture-in-picture portion of the match because Mariah's getting heat on Deonna, and Deonna doesn't have the standing with the AEW audience for someone like Mariah, who is technically a heel, but they like very much to actually get heat on. Like, no one's going to boo her doing that. But also, because Mariah isn't full-on face, it's like a few people are par, but not really. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not like rooting for her, you know? So it didn't work. You know, it just did not work, the middle portion of it. Which was hilarious because just as they're about to come back from ad break, where it's just like this dead kind of match, the crowd just randomly starts chanting, "This is awesome." Like,
yeah. I don't know what they did to pop them, but they did something.
So, like, God bless the AEW lot. They probably heard
they got a cue. Like, they got a cue from someone in the area. It's just like, fuck, we're back. Like,
they heard the WrestlePurists podcast last week talking about the weird crowd from AEW Dynamite and thought they just wanted to liven it up with some good faith. Yeah. This is awesome chance randomly in the middle of a dead segment.
Yeah. God bless.
Yeah. So that happened. The crowd was having fun with it nonetheless. And
they were into it when they were throwing forearms.
It was yeah, like I said, good start, rough middle / picture, but a good ending, like a good closing stretch. I thought the actual finish didn't come off super smooth.
No.
But the actual closing stretch, the crowd really got behind it as well, and it was a good closing stretch. And I really like both of them. I think Mariah May's made a really good impression in her matches since coming into AEW, and I've liked Deonna for a while. So, two very good women's wrestlers having a pretty solid match that could have been better, you know? But yeah, like I said, the actual finish wasn't super smooth, but you know, Deonna ends up getting the win over Mariah, but he's immediately jumped by Tony and Cole, and Thunder Rosa's the one to make the save, and as she's running down the ramp, she fucking smokes Luther, bro.
Oh my god! Like, fucking, she ran through him. It was fucking hilarious. Like, I've never seen her hit someone so hard, bro. Like. I don't know how she has so much momentum, but she hit him and he fucking fell. Like, oh my god.
He's like, Luther's like what, like 6'2" or something as well.
Yeah. He's a big, like, he's not a small man.
Rosa flies through the air, bro. Like, just
it was fucking awesome.
And it wouldn't surprise me if I actually did like knock him a bit, you know. Like, I know Thunder's not exactly the biggest lady in the world, but fuck, she had so much momentum, and she literally just soared through the air into his chin. Yes. Like,
God bless. Probably my favorite part.
That was fucking awesome. So yeah, Thunder Rosa makes the save, but obviously Thunder Rosa and Deonna have been having this like weird tension.
Yeah.
And not like arguing with each other when they make saves for each other. Like, I don't need you.
It's very odd.
And yeah, as they're doing this, Mariah May drags Deonna out of the ring, and they start fighting. And then Tony tries to creep up behind Thunder Rosa to jump her. fails miserably, gets put in a camel clutch, and Thunder Rosa starts putting like makeup, like lipstick, just like painting her face with it, which hilariously like got over. Like I was watching it at home, like, I mean, all right, you know, but the crowd's like,
people remembered Tony smearing her makeup about, like, I don't know, it's very odd.
So it did. It
wasn't Tony's shade.
It wasn't. Commentary pointed this out, so
yes, we did.
Important details, Charlie.
Yes, the hard-hitting details that we've got to pay attention to. It's all foreshadowing. I'll think of something. My only issue with all this is that I genuinely forgot that Deonna wasn't in the pay-per-view match against Tony. Like, it wasn't until Thunder Rosa came out, I was just like, oh shit, yeah, she's the one actually wrestling on Sunday. Like, I don't know. It's been a weird feud. It's been a very weird build to this pay-per-view, but hopefully the match is good. I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into it because it's Tony Storm.
But I think it can be, but that is, as you said, that's kind of the case with Tony, isn't it? Like, it can be good.
Call up Azumi for tips. She got her to lock in, which was awesome. But
She did. Thunder Rosa might have to just do that thing that she does in some matches where she just like whacks you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, needs to hit her with those shots that she was hitting Luther with, brother. You know?
Yeah.
This popped me earlier. I know you probably didn't listen to this because you're not an Observer Radio listener, but Dave and Brian had like a full-on argument about this match.
Why?
Because Brian was like, the crowd was dead for this, and Dave was like, no, there wasn't, and they went like back and forth. Basically, they went back and forth on that, and it's basically because like there's different phases of this match where it's like decent start, dead middle, good finish, you know. So I don't know, but like they fully went like back and forth, and Brian was like, "I'll pull it up now." Dave was like, "Do it." So they fully went back and forth on the heat this match got.
The finer details of the product.
Yes. So yeah, Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm at Dynasty. Who knows how that'll go? I think Tony's probably retaining though.
Yeah.
Probably.
It'd be weird if they. I don't know. I don't think Thunder's quite there in ring to hold the belt the way that she would want to right now. Which isn't her fault, obviously. She came back from that fucking back injury or whatever. But then again, Tony Storm is Timeless Tony and wrestles the matches she wrestles. So.
And I think with what we've seen of Mercedes so far, the Thunder Rosa feud would probably be less like embarrassing than fucking a potential Timeless Tony and Mercedes feud. So
the real answer is Tony retaining and then Mariah May winning at Double or Nothing, to be honest. Because who else do you even put in this little bubble at the moment? Like, what other women can be involved in a world title feud? Which is crazy because they have plenty of talented women. But who isn't involved with the TBS belt that would be worth putting stock into for a world title feud at this point?
I don't know, it's tough, isn't it? Like, there is loads of talent. It's like with Chris and Stat, obviously they're in like the TBS Mercedes verse.
Chris and Stat.
Chris and Stat and Willow. Chris and Willow. I don't know which one I was going for. Chris and Stat is an interesting choice, though. Chris and Willow. Obviously, like I said, they're in like the TBS universe. I mean, there is others, but took Athena. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's options, but maybe not so obvious, you know.
I know she's been talk of the town for not the greatest of reasons at the moment, but I think they could do something funny with Nyla Rose with this Timeless Tony stuff. I think that could be genuinely very funny TV. If they're going to keep leaning into the Timeless Tony stuff, they might as well bring in someone who is good at doing funny TV to bounce off with. So I'd like to see Nyla Rose get involved with it, to be honest.
That is actually like inspired booking. Like, Nyla Rose against Timeless Tony Storm, you know, and like, you know, I just, Nyla Rose could like really do something with it. Do you know what I mean? Where it wouldn't be like, she wouldn't be like having to like play into like Tony's like shit, because like she would be right there with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I could see Nyla Rose versus Tony being actually quite successful. But yeah, man, shout out Nyla Rose, man. That shit that the Oklahoma Athletic Commission did was like complete bullshit. Issuing for those that don't know, the Oklahoma Athletic Commission issued AEW a warning for having Nyla Rose compete against a female competitor, which is obviously just like ridiculous, fucking Stone Age shit, you know. So, so yeah, shout out Nyla Rose. We support Nyla Rose at WrestlePurists. All right. Next up, though, we have a Bang Bang Gang Bullet Club Gold promo, basically led by Jay White. Says that they've had a good time with the Acclaim, but they're so much better off without them. The Guns had a nice time with the Dad, but they're better under the leadership of Jay White. And then challenged the Acclaim to a title versus title match. And
finally,
I mean, finally. I mean, for like a 1 minute promo in the feud that this is, you know, and everything, and you see, it's kind of is what it is at this point. But I thought Jay White's actual delivery and promo here was actually quite good, to be honest. He didn't have like any of his like catchphrases and stuff that a lot of people kind of exhausted by, you know. But kind of straight to the point. Good promo, as always. Like I said, good delivery. Nice little promo.
Yeah.
Nice little promo. I like Jay White, man. I hope he can like get going, you know.
Yes.
Someone posted the I know it's almost like a dirty word to bring up when talking about AEW. Someone brought up like one of the 6-mans with Punk. I remember when CM Punk and Switchblade got into the ring at the same time, and there was the CM Punk Switchblade dueling chants, and it's like, bro, like.
I was there for the Toronto match. It was special stuff, man. It was very special stuff.
Yeah, they're doing this title unification match, and
is it actually unification? Because I haven't seen the graphic. I just know it's on the 0 hour, which is.
I assumed it was anyway, because that's what Jay White challenged for. He said my title versus your title, whatever it was, title versus title. Like, that's what he challenged for, and obviously they accepted. But I don't know. I didn't see the graphic or whatever, or if there was a graphic, and I don't know if it said title versus title on it or whatever it was. But I did see a few people kind of confused, like, is it for both belts? And I was like, well, of course it is. But nonetheless, Tony can't confirm as much on the media call that I was on earlier. So, Tony did confirm it on the media call earlier. He's in fact title versus title. So.
God.
Yes, indeed. No promotion needs 2 trios belts. You know, I know it's technically 2 promotions, but not the way AEW uses them.
Yeah.
So,
it's been a topic on the timeline like the last couple of days on Twitter. It genuinely baffles me how AEW gets so much criticism for having so many factions, yet they can't sustain a trios division. I don't understand how these 2 things go hand in hand. And I get play into it a lot, but it's so odd. Like, I thought about it earlier, and I was like, genuinely, was baffled.
The chaotic, nonsensical, but also great promotion. You know, it's what AEW is. So a lot of the shit there does not make any sense, like Charlie just mentioned. So, but yeah,
I won't go on a tangent about that because I could talk about that for fucking days on end.
But the trios division,
and the fact that they have such an aversion to involving top factions, why it makes it feel like there's no one in the division, because the BCC haven't even touched the belts. Like, they haven't even thought about the belts, and
that was a demand, wasn't it? That like
Yeah,
AEW has these big factions. Like when people were saying the trios bouts, like no one was thinking about fucking. I don't even know. Like who are some of? Do you know what I mean? Like people were thinking like BCC. Obviously, you know we got the Elite, Death Triangle, and all these people have kind of been around the belts. But it's like as soon as the Elite dropped the belts, it was like
LFI, like
they clearly fell off a cliff as soon as the Elite like
yes.
dropped the belts. You know, and that was just kind of unfortunate because that was kind of that best of seven. Like not obviously every feud shouldn't be a best of seven, but like that
Mm,
level of booking is kind of like how those trios belts should have been treated, and they can be treated. And with AEW, to add on Charlie's point, it makes even less sense because the roster's so stacked. It's an easy way to productively get 6 people on your show
on
or
TV.
pay per view or whatever it is, you know.
And
And if
trios
the
matches
belts
are
mean
fun.
something, you know, yeah,
Yeah,
they are,
is
especially in AEW.
yeah. Like I think I was thinking about this because of it was your message the other day when you asked what the Elite were doing in 2022, and it was the 6-man tournament when Kenny had
Hmm.
just come back, and that's what kind of spiraled this like thinking of how the fuck they not have a good division when like they have so many factions in that. It just like you look at some of the teams in that division, like in that tournament, sorry, and it's like, what the fuck are even any of them doing these days? Like the Dark Order are like, I have my feelings about them, but they were a solid trio in AEW that were reliable and put on good TV matches, and now they're just not used. The Best Friends, obviously, they're going through their breakup stage, but they were together for forever and didn't sniff the trios titles. They had like what 1 or 2 matches and didn't get close. Like I don't know, man. It's baffling.
It
Genuinely,
is.
genuinely baffling.
Yes. It makes you think like why did they make him in the first place? Like if this was like the long term plan for it, it's like why bother? You know? Like so you know, it's unfortunate but there's always every chance that they can come back with
They can always
any
turn things around,
any
but my
which
god.
way, you know. We'll see which way the unification goes.
Good god, if the Acclaimed win, I might retire.
Retire from trios wrestling.
Yes, I will never advocate for it again.
um, keeping it moving. Shane Taylor versus Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
Let's talk about Shane Taylor a little bit.
Okay.
He's good, Anna.
He's grown on me.
He's
I'm
good.
more of a fan now
He's
than I
good.
was like 4 months ago.
He's very good, man. He needs new gear, but he's still
Yeah.
very good. He's still very, very good.
Such as the tale of a lot
Similar,
of wrestlers.
yeah, similar to Brody King, similar to JD Drake when I think he had like one of the matches in recent weeks.
Yeah.
When given time and space to kind of do their shit against like a smaller opponent, because these are all three huge guys I just mentioned. Their offense is either like dynamic enough or painful looking enough that they can just fill the space. And
Yes.
Shane, on top of this as well, he's also like a good character that fully understands like who he is. You know, he's a
Yeah.
good promo and stuff as well. Um, I think I'm not saying that he should have won this match in particular against someone like Orange Cassidy, but I do think it's probably getting close to the time where he needs to stop losing on TV all the time.
Yeah. He should beat a name.
Yeah, man, and I think Shane Taylor Promotions is one of those factions that it doesn't jump off the page by any means. Shane Taylor, Moriarty, and Anthony Ogogo. But I do think with like good creative booking and smart progression, they could be a little bit of a hit. But it's one of those
They
things that I
could
think
be
would
great
take.
trios champions.
It's also like it's one of those things as well where it would actually take like an actual like you know proper effort to do that
Yeah, like
creatively and make it
dedicated
work,
producer.
make
Yeah.
it click, make sure the progression's right. Like
Yeah.
they're not, like I said, they don't jump off the page, and they're not like can't miss by any means. You know, but I do think there is like a little bit of
I think there's
potential
some
there for them to be like a real hit. So
I
but
do.
with all the moving pieces going on with AEW Creative at the moment, and all the different things they're trying to juggle, all the new signings, title changes, these different things all going on, this new era basically, because AEW and WWE are both doing this like new era thing at the
Yes.
moment. So unfortunately, I don't think they'll kind of get that kind of space and focus to be able to like become what they can be. But hopefully, there's still like a good bit of TV, you know. But yeah, Charlie, Cassidy, Shane Taylor, it was a decent match, wasn't it?
It was. This is another one that I thought didn't overstay its welcome. And Shane Taylor's pretty good at using the room given to him. And the closing stretch I thought was pretty cool as well. Yeah, I had a really great time watching it. And I think that, like we said, Shane Taylor probably should start picking up some wins. Have him win against someone like Matt Sydal, like people that aren't like, they're not like the biggest names, but he's a respected talent, and he's on TV enough that people go, "Oh shit, he beat Matt Sydal." Like, I don't know. I think there is something to him. Anthony Ogogo pops me tremendously every time that he's out at ringside, because if AEW fans are really into like this second run for him. I've seen him wrestle recently. Guys, I cannot wait for the reaction. It's going to be... Yeah. Anyways. He's a good piece for the faction. But, boy, when that bell rings...
It's a British Olympian right there, Charlie.
It is. He is a British Olympian, and I'm so happy for him, but my God.
Quick super chat. Nathan Dewey, $10 Canadian. He says he's a big fan of Claudio. Do we see him getting higher up the card, getting any major single title wins, a break from the Blackpool Combat Club? What are your thoughts on his future? What's the best use of him? I think it'll be, honestly, what do I think it'll be? I think it'll be more of the same. I think it will get more of what we've seen in recent months of Claudio, where he is basically a member of the Blackpool Combat Club, and they can use that as a device to make him have cool singles matches like he had last night. Some he'll win, some he'll lose, depending on who the feud and who the individual he's facing. And but I don't see him going on like a run where, you know, Tony or whoever it is at Creative who, you know, deals closely with Claudio and the Blackpool Combat Club. Probably Brian, obviously.
Yeah.
Where they're like, all right, let's put Claudio on a title charge. Like, I can't see them doing that in the immediate future.
Maybe not the world
I'd pop for it.
I could see like the Continental title, potentially.
I could see maybe that. Maybe. But yeah, I wouldn't complain. I think Claudio's fucking tremendous. He could probably sell me on a Claudio world title reign. You know what I mean? The ratings wouldn't be great for it, but, you know, I'd be great. I'd appreciate it.
Me and you both. Big fans of Claudio. I think he's a tremendous wrestler.
He's awesome, and we're going to talk about one of his awesome matches very soon, I think.
Yeah, not much left.
Yeah.
Oh, there's only one segment left in between.
Yeah. But yeah, Shane and Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy gets the win. Orange Punch. But he's immediately attacked by by Shane Taylor Promotions. Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal tried to make the save, and a man in a hood nails them both in the head with a chair. AEW were getting a bit aggressive with these chair shots at the head. I know some of them aren't like full on clean, you know, like some of them aren't like full on like clean to the dome, you know, like, but we're getting close. You know,
they only just got their hands up. My God,
we're getting dicey. Sydal, when he threw the chair at him, Sydal got his hands up too late on that one. I'm afraid.
Yeah, it was.
He got nailed. Christopher Daniels kind of got his hands up and leaned away. Last week, Pac leaned away, but he did get nailed clean on the head with a fucking chair shot from Pac. I saw a few people say, "Oh, it was his shoulder." So it wasn't. It was. It
No.
wasn't. He did lean away from it, and he didn't like full on. It wasn't as ugly as it could have been, but he took one to the dome. Chair shots to the head obviously aren't like ideal. It's not something that I get like squirmish about and say, "Oh, that's a disgrace." Or something, you know what I mean? But I am also like not an idiot, and I am aware of like the potential long term dangers of it, especially if it's like something accumulative, well, it has been in, in back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think if you are going to allow like chair shots to the head, or even in remotely close to the head, like it should be something that like you save.
Yeah.
You know, I know it went horrifically wrong in terms of Cody getting stitches and stuff for it, but remember how much of like a big deal it felt when Sean Spears nailed Cody with the chair. Yes. Obviously, the stitches and that kind of the gimmick chair not being gimmicked or whatever the fuck went wrong with that chair was very unfortunate. But obviously, with Cody bleeding in the ring, it kind of added to the angle at that time in the moment. But even outside of that, just more so kind of like the shock, like chair shot to the head. If we're doing them every week, it's like
it kills the vibe.
Especially when it's just in like post match brawl language. You know what I mean? Because like last week with Okai, he was just kind of thrown in there. It wasn't like this big thing that built to him. And again, last night it was just kind of, you could have got the exact same reaction and effect out of not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, I sound squeamish and like fucking Karen right now. So, But yeah, anyway, it was Trent, the man in the hood, if you didn't guess by now. And, he obviously cut off the save for his former friend, Orange Cassidy, and he stood at the top of the ramp and just kind of watched his friend get the shit kicked out of him by Shane Taylor Promotions. And, Orange Cassidy was left, he was left lying, draped in a STP flag.
Yes, which was hilarious visual. I was kind of surprised that the Trent Cassidy match wasn't added to this pay-per-view. But I think maybe they're going to run it as a Dynamite main event with a stipulation. That's what I've kind of got in my brain right now. Because it would be too long to go to Double or Nothing. I've said this about matches.
Yeah, definitely.
Pay-per-view builds, though, so we'll see. But yeah, I think they're going to main event with like a no DQ. Maybe they'll call it something fancy. Maybe they've got a promotional deal coming out. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's going to be something that they let breathe on a Dynamite, which is good. You can do that sometimes. Not everything needs to end on a pay-per-view.
Definitely can't run that to Double or Nothing, man. So yeah, Dynamite main event sounds like a really good Dynamite main event as well.
Yeah.
I will say though about this kind of like feud and turn and stuff in general. I do think it definitely would have hit more if. I just think Orange probably should have had some time off before doing his best friend turn angle thing that they've been doing at the moment. I just think it would have hit so much more if Orange Cassidy was like fresh again to the audience instead of coming out of like a lengthy title reign, lengthy title scene run where he wrestled literally the entire roster. If you went away for a little bit, crowd pops for him coming back. They're still getting a few pops for him being fresh on screen, and then you do the Trent time. You know what I mean? And then this would kind of just have a bit more juice to it.
Yeah.
That being said, this is far from dead. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And Orange Cassidy is far from dead, but I just think this could have had a bit more juice to it.
I do agree.
We got a Roddy, Kyle O'Reilly promo video package.
Yeah.
Roddy said he's going to. Roddy says he's going to end Kyle O'Reilly forever.
My notes this was literally just a frowny face.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's like, this should feel bigger. But
they did the turn on Battle of the Belts, which is like
okay. It's a shame, though. So yeah, if this was the direction, it should feel bigger. It's a shame, but that is what happens when you don't establish Roddy properly after he wins the belt and him as a champion before doing the turn. So it's like you've got this thing where it's like the juice of the feud, which is very little so far, has just been like that Roddy's turned on his friend, not the fact that like Kyle's come back after all this fucking time off of injury and fighting back with nearly ending his career, and he's got this chance to win the the international title.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? Like that's not even really a part of the story that the fans can get the TV into, because this just has not been given the time. This does not feel as big as it should do, and obviously part of it is because Roddy hasn't been properly established as a great champion, which would have been easily done because he's such a great in-ring worker.
Yeah.
So Cole's probably losing, isn't he, Charlotte?
Yeah. He's not.
Yeah. I'm not saying you should take the belt off Roddy. It's just interesting choices, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of invested in this Kyle O'Reilly redemption arc that like Holbert's been pitching, like where he goes through the adversity of losing to Roddy, and then he's got to be, or like we didn't know it would be Roddy, but like taking a loss to someone, and then like building himself back up and like circling back to it, and then like finally like achieving his goals in that. But the fact that they've gone to the Roddy feud so quickly, it's like
weird.
Is there no one? Is there no one else? Like, you've never run out of opponents for Orange Cassidy. Why have we got none for Roddy Strong? Like, it feels like they've jumped the gun, and maybe they're trying to do this. Like, it wasn't a heel turn because Roddy's already a heel, but like establishing him as like the guy of Undisputed Kingdom, because obviously it was reported Adam Cole's going to be out longer than they were hoping. Like, we don't know when he'll be back. So they need someone in that group to feel like the big dastardly heel, and it doesn't work with Wardlow. And I like the Kingdom as a tag team, but they ain't them guys either. So I guess maybe that's what they're trying to achieve with Roddy. This is how I'm justifying this match happening already. But I think the match is going to be great. Like, yes. Like, I think the match itself is going to be great, and I hope that they have more of a closing angle on Collision. I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm holding out
hope. It's a shame. It's a shame more than anything. It's not like it's awful TV or anything. It's just kind of a shame it doesn't have the juice, or it's been given the time or focus that it should have had. And that goes exactly the same for Roddy's reign in general. You know. So yeah, it just kind of is what it is. But by the end of the weekend,
it was an eliminator. Like, I don't understand their handling of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like he doesn't want to wrestle. He's taking indie bookings. We've already discussed this today. Like,
yeah, bro, Roddy will wrestle. If he's clear, he'll wrestle, brother. Well, no, that's never a question. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, if Roddy does win, like I expect him to, then hopefully they can listen to the WrestlePurists podcast and book some of those featured total defenses on Dynamite and even Collision. I'll tune into Rampage to watch him as well. So ideally it wouldn't be Rampage because they obviously don't. AEW don't really treat Rampage like it's a show that matters. If they did, then I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But anyway, Osprey versus Claudio Castagnoli, and hilariously, I don't actually have a lot to say about this because it was kind of.
Because how many ways can we say this match was great?
It was really good, and it was really good in kind of like the way you would expect it to be really good. Osprey's got a really good dynamic offense. Claudio, as this has been said a million times throughout the past 24 hours, but he's a great base. He's got all the strength spots, and he's just a really good professional wrestler, as is Osprey. Got off to a quick start. They had a really good match. Man, look, just really nothing surprising about this. Kind of the match that, if you're a fan of both of these guys, what you'd expect them to have, except for maybe a few minutes shorter than you would have expected, because it felt like at this part of the show they were running out of time, But because they started at like 42 minutes past the hour, I think it was. Do you know what I mean? And it's like this is a match that would normally see out the rest of the show from that point, like this caliber of match. But obviously, we knew we had the Swerve angle coming as well, so that to get out of there, So, yeah, really good match. Another great Osprey match. Another great Claudio match. And yeah, Charlie.
They're great wrestlers, and they put on some great wrestling. Like, it's been the talk of the town, but like the reversal of the giant swing pops me every single time I see it, because I don't know that I've ever seen someone reverse that. Like, it just pops me along. These two
Osprey
have
can do
great
those
chemistry.
things. Yeah.
He can. It's crazy. Like, I couldn't imagine anyone else doing it, so I don't know. Osprey's just different, isn't he? His connection, I say this every time Osprey's on screen, but his connection with the AEW audience, it's on another level, and it genuinely is like the deepest connection someone's had coming in from like a different company since Moxley. So it's yeah. Will Osprey is AEW. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Pretty good, isn't he?
Our good friend, member of the family, Tiger Star Pro, points out that the video package for this ruled as well. Absolutely no bias at all. We agree as well. No bias whatsoever. Now, all jokes aside, good shit. Tiger Star, man. Tiger Star is all elite. Still kind of crazy. You're not the need to let you do Tiger Star, Julia. If you're still in the chat, which I hope you are, you didn't just drop that in to put yourself over and got out of it.
He normally listens when he's working.
They need to have him. No, well, yeah, I was gonna say him or someone, but him. He works there. They should have him make Titantrons, because their Titantrons are so like dull. Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't like a lot of them.
Just a little Tiger Star, let it. You know what I mean? Just
man.
Just give us a little something. You know.
Bro, an Osprey Titantron in like Julian's style would be fucking sick.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's some work you can give him, TK. Put him to work, man. Anyway.
Yeah. Very avid listener, Tony Khan.
Alright, so that was Osprey Claudio. Good match. Osprey gets the win. And then they all attack the Don Callis family, they all attack Claudio after. They're just rushing him in the ring, kind of behind Osprey's back as he's kind of like facing the hard cam. He rolls out the ring, he turns around, sees it, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like, he's not like going crazy, you know, and he's not being performative. He's just kind of like, "What? What are you doing, man?"
Him and Carl were beefing a little bit on that on the ramp. It was just like, what are you guys doing?
You've got the eye for these things, you see. Especially when it's cold, you know.
All right, fair enough. Unnecessary.
But yeah, they're attacking Claudio. Takeshita goes to brainbuster him on the ramp, just like they did to Danielson. But before that happens, Mox's music hits, and he comes from the crowd, and he makes the save, and yeah, man, he gets into it with Hobbs as well. They kind of have like an extended back and forth, and yeah, man, Mox makes a save, and yeah, Mox is beefing with the Don Callis family right now. Well, the whole Blackpool Combat Club is, but yeah, man.
You know what match I think we're gonna get not long after Dynasty? Osprey and Danielson versus Hobbs or either Fletcher and Takeshita or Hobbs and Fletcher. I think that is a match we are going to get.
I could see that. It makes sense. Of course, there's so many different matchups of these 6 guys, you know. So
I think there's something to the idea that the Don Callis family is going to get involved in this match or try to get involved, and Osprey's just going to call him off. He's not going to let him do it. And whether that means he wins or he loses, I think that they're going to attack him after the match. And I keep going back and forth on who I think's winning. Like, I said Brian very confidently like a couple of weeks ago, but I'm still not sure. But I think there's something to this. I think
Brian's gonna win. I think Brian's gonna win. Not confident, but like
Osprey
not like 100% confident, but yeah.
Osprey needs a summer feud because we all are pretty confident he's on a collision course. for the world title at All In. And there's still 4 months between April and August. You can't do a 4-month build to this world title match with him being directly involved with Swerve. So they've got to do something. And Osprey teaming with members of the BCC, I ain't gonna say no to it.
Not at all. Definitely not. Definitely not. There's so many good matches for Osprey, man, and especially when he's in the mode that he's been in for like the past 2 years now, where it's like it doesn't really matter who he's wrestling. He's now figured out kind of the way where he can plug anybody into his match, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of good potential matchups there, especially within this feud that he's in now. So, well, you call it a feud. He's not feuding with the Blackpool Combat Club, but
no,
he's friends.
He's just wrestling Bryan Danielson.
Yes. Out of respect, you know.
Yes. Although he's the best in the world.
Yes. But yeah, speaking of the best in the world, the real best in the world is the world champion Charlotte, you know. Yes. And Swerve comes down and he calls out that man, the world champion Samoa Joe. And he's talking about, you know, why is he so confident? The question that Renee asked him earlier on, like, why is he so confident that he'll be able to beat Samoa Joe? And basically it was like, yo, when I held that title above my head last week, I saw the fear in his eyes. He calls him out. Samoa Joe comes out. He's pissed. Security's trying to get in his way. Swerve's like, "Come on, BBL Joey."
Crazy line.
And yeah, like security's trying to split them up and stuff like that, and they're in the middle of them, not letting Samoa Joe get to him. Samoa Joe's kind of like at the bottom of the ramp, and all the security's in front of the ring. And Swerve gets on the top rope and he does this like wild fucking stomp, which could have gone horrifically bad.
Yeah,
it could have gone so bad, but it didn't. He pulled it off and he looked like a fucking superhero or something coming from the skies and just clearing everyone out.
Like just emerging in front of Joe. It was a really cool visual.
Yeah, it was a really cool visual, definitely. So yeah, he does that. That clears the security out of the way. He comes face to face with Samoa Joe, and they start scrapping a little bit. But Samoa Joe ultimately gets the better hand of him, hand over him, and hits him with a muscle buster. And Samoa Joe has put Swerve Strickland down again. Of course, the assumption is that he will get up again, and this time for the last time, and defeat Samoa Joe this weekend at Dynasty. But this Dynamite did close with Samoa Joe standing tall over Swerve Strickland.
As it should have. They needed to close this Dynamite with the world title feud because, like I said, it's meandered a little bit. They've got it back on track, but strong feud going into the pay-per-view the last couple of weeks. I'm very excited for this match. I have no idea what it looks like as a singles, and I'm interested to find out.
Yeah, man, it was what you said is a strong way to close the last Dynamite before Dynasty, especially with a feud that kind of needed this spot on Dynamite. You know what I mean? Of being like the show closer. So yeah, man, the feud, as you said, it kind of meandered a bit, but they've kind of got it right, kind of where it needs to be. I wouldn't say it's perfectly where it needs to be, although like Swerve has been getting some really good reactions. My honest worry, since this is the only time we'll be able to talk about it because this won't even matter this time next week, the crowd is absolutely still on board for the ride of Swerve becoming world champion, AEW's first black world heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? People are here for it. I just really hope that AEW stick the landing, and they probably should and probably will. You know, but I do think there is kind of like a weird element to this and it's my only concern about this match in particular, is that everyone loves the heel, Samoa Joe. Yeah. You know? Every time Samoa Joe's beat the shit out of Swerve, they'll chant Joe. They don't really boo it. Do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
And when the feud has been, I keep getting back up. Do you know what I mean? It would be nice that every time the heel put the babyface down, they actually got like the desired reaction out of it. That being said, it hasn't gone to like toxic reactions where the crowd roots against Swerve because they like Joe so much. They were still doing this, even when they were brawling and going back and forth. They were doing the Swerve's house. They were doing this. They were doing like they still cheer for Swerve. Do you know what I mean? It's just so much that it's not like frantic and hating anyone who touches him sort of thing. Because like I said, they full on like cheer Joe. Like they did it last night, bro. Like they did it last night. Samoa Joe stood over the baby face that's meant to be taking the title off him this weekend with the belt up in the air like that, laid him out, and the crowd was chanting Joe. So it's like, I just hope that doesn't leak too much into the actual match. And like I said, hopefully none of this matters on the night. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the crowd's just with Swerve, they've chosen Swerve. And when he wins, it does feel like he's the chosen one. Do you know what I mean? And it gets over huge. And it's this like great, emphatic, emotional moment, you know?
Yeah.
Because if the crowd just decides like, yo, Joe's the man, you know? Because he is. Samoa Joe is the fucking man, do you know what I mean? So
But I think that's why there's no reason to worry, because he's so good at getting heat on himself in these sorts of matches and like getting the audience to not turn against him, because no one's ever going to turn against Samoa Joe, but to like hate him in the moment. And I think there's just going to be just enough of that. I think he's going to taunt Nana. He's going to like take the piss out of Swerve. He's going to fucking walk out of the way of one of his top rope moves. Like, I think there's going to be just enough for this match that they treat Joe as the heel in this match, and then he's just going to go back to being Samoa Joe after. Like, he's like pretty infallible to the audience at this point. But I think on the night, Swerve's going to be the man, and he's going to get the crowd reactions that we're all anticipating. I'm just cautious that people are going to be anticipating a return here that's not going to happen, because I've seen a lot of talk of people being like, well, Hangman's definitely coming back at Dynasty, and I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be coming back this weekend.
I was going to ask you that, so I'm happy
there you go.
Got ahead of it. I was going to say, do you think Hangman's in play? Because I'm not sure, and always come to you with these things. So.
No. Because it was never confirmed what his time off was for, right? But so, based on what we've heard, though, I don't think he'll be back this weekend. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll take it. Don't face me in it either way. I ain't gonna be mad at seeing Hangman on my TV again. But
I think it's the only way that Swerve wouldn't win.
Yeah, and I think it would be disastrous to not have Swerve win here. I could deal with it at Revolution because of the way that they did it, and like Swerve winning in a multi-man, like a triple threat, like it would have been cool, but it's not beating the big man. Like it wouldn't. I don't think it will have the same effect as him beating Joe this Sunday. But I don't think I don't think Hangman comes back here.
It would be a missed chance to give someone a real opportunity, a real top of the card star. Like, I'm not talking about like the run that he's been on recently, where he's been one of the hot guys of the past like 6 months or so, and he's had this really great feud with Hangman, and it's bled into this now world title feud that he's having, and it's all felt kind of natural, and it's just worked, you know. I'm talking about really establishing him as someone who will be a top guy for like years to come. You know, and people who have listened to these podcasts, and you guys, especially like you, AO, Ibu, Joel, like all friends that I talk to, like, know I've had my reservations about Swerve being like the guy and the world champion. But that being said, with kind of the situation and the way they've booked it so far, and the way Swerve has got himself over, and the way Swerve has excelled, I think that even still, like now that you've got to the point that you're at now, you have to put the title on Swerve, because what's the point of throwing away the chance of someone like that potentially making himself a top guy for years to come? And there is absolutely the chance
of payoff.
Yeah, literally. And it's like there is always the chance that like the rain might not hit the way people you want it to, or maybe he falls into obscurity, like we mentioned earlier, like Hangman kind of did after his reign, and maybe it don't kind of work perfectly. But like I think with the situation they're in now, they have to try it. Do you know what I mean? They have to do it. They have to pull the trigger trigger needs to be pulled. You've already booked it now. Even if you do bring Hangman back and he just cost him, like, yeah, it would logically make sense in like kayfabe, but in terms of like railing one of your hottest people in that regard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I do think Osprey feels like the guy that people like want to see the most and shit at the moment in AEW. But that being said, it is still Swerve's like moment to have his time with the world title, you know. So I love Samoa Joe, and I'd be lying if I said it wouldn't slightly pop me if I saw him just choke out Swerve and just become and he's still just champ. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of like trying to look at it from like what should AEW do in a broad sense and not just book it for me, so of course Swerve should win. You know, and yeah, man, we are. So yeah, Swerve, I think he's going to get it done. I think he should be getting it done. And I actually do think he should have a strong reign. Similar to Hangman. Like, even though he might not be like the hottest guy in the promotion, because I do think that's Osprey. And there's a lot of moving pieces of a lot of different things going on in the promotion right now. Swerve can still be right up there, right in the mix, and still be like a worthy like world champion who's having
absolutely.
You know, so yeah, man, Dynasty this weekend.
Yeah. Reckon we'll get any other surprises?
I mean, the ones in play are what? Jack Perry, Motor City Machine Guns, Hangman, and MJF. God. Those are the ones that are in. Those are the ones that people are talking about.
Yeah. Do I think we see the machine guns?
Oh, I don't.
No. I think that the Bucks are starting to do their little wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of shit, where they're like, "Hey guys, we're going to be wrestling the Motor City Machine Guns soon." But I don't think they appear at Dynasty. I do think we do get Jack Perry back because of the way he left that Windy City Riot match. Like, that was a weird way to do it if you're going to go back to Japan and still be a heel and part of the House of Torture. It would be very odd. But I do think we see Jack Perry. I don't think we see MJF. Because I don't see where it makes sense. Where would you put Max on this card? Because I wouldn't put him anywhere near the world title right now. And that's like no offense to him. The scene is just so stacked.
Yeah, I want to bring MJF back on this card. I don't think he will be, but I think the only one that is actually happening is Jack Perry. I don't think we see Motor City Machine Gun yet. I do think, obviously, Body Slam first initially reported, and we basically heard similar things about, you know, they're in late stage negotiations with AEW. So I'm expecting to see them probably on Double or Nothing or something. But you know, I don't think they're showing up here. Hangman, don't think he's showing up here. MJF, don't think he's showing up here. So,
what about any of the women? Britt Baker was mentioned in chat. I genuinely would be shocked because of like I don't forget she's part of the division. That's the wrong way to say it, but like she's not really like the forefront of my mind when it comes to like people like a pop return. People would pop for her. She's Britt fucking Baker.
She's a big star, man. If I'm being honest, I think I'm ready for Britt Baker to come back.
I think there's a gap on the TV, man. They're missing
What are we doing
in the division. Anna would absolutely hate us right now.
What are we doing right now?
I don't miss Britt. But I
don't know. There's something about her sassiness that I just kind of miss, you know. You know, when she teases a debut that isn't happening, you know.
She was right.
She's gonna do like a bit. She'll come back and do like a Becky Lynch tease with me. Immediately.
She's gonna call herself the man.
Top geezer.
Top geezer, yeah.
I would get out of here.
Yeah, Jamie Hayter, please come back. That is my closing thought.
Oh, bro, that would pop me more than any of the names that we've just mentioned. You know.
Yeah.
Even more than dentist. Alright, so AEW Dynamite review. We had a good time.
A Dynasty talk as well.
We might do a Dynasty, like an actual preview and prediction show on the weekend. We'll see how it all lines up, and it should be able to do it though, because we'll just do it as a WrestlePurists podcast on Sunday before the show, and before it starts, we'll do like a pre-show or something.
Might be able to make some of it. I'm in London on Sunday. We'll see.
Oh god. Alright. So AEW Dynamite review by WrestlePurists, 2-man booth. Should be back to the normal team tomorrow, but I can't promise that because AO's work schedule is always kind of like on the day we find out if you can do the show or not. But in theory, should be back to normal. So no more me. I'm sure some of you are absolutely sick of me. But it should just be the standard Charlie, Joe, AO, the big three. Yeah, man. Shout out Charlie, man. She's made all the dates. She's here doing the 2-man booth. Did damn thing tonight. So, okay. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll be back over the rest of the weekend, because, it's pay-per-view week. So just keep an eye on the page. We'll be going live a few times. Yeah, like, subscribe. Thank you for all the super chats. If you're watching on replay, please leave a comment. Much appreciated. And we'll catch you either tomorrow or over the weekend. Peace.
Peace.